Start your journey today by liking, subscribing, and sharing our YouTube channel, KnowledgeWell Media, or by going to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site and perusing over the available content and information. Also by submitting your email at the bottom of the Square site page in the Stay in the Loop section to receive priority information, specials, and other insider details. Or by signing up for a 1-hour consultation to tailor your specific educational needs in beginning your journey. You may do so at the aforementioned Square site, once again at knowledgewell-media.square.site. Here are a few other items in demand on our Square site. The Person Defined series, a 9-part video lecture series comprehensively outlining the scheme to artfully deceive mankind into trading away his birthright, his natural liberties, and inherent rights. Pre-orders for The Yellow Bricks of Emerald, the first edition, offered presently as an ebook only. This book comprehensively uncovers the legal schemes, past, present, and future, of the elite powers and the U.S., subjecting American citizens to servitude and allegiance due to their own ignorance. The KnowledgeWell Video Lecture Series Trust Course, a comprehensive lecture series educating on the history, effects, and administration of the wealth-preserving, asset-protecting, private commercial entity known as a trust. Plus, we have our very own template and instructions to help you set up yours. And, coming soon, our apparel and product store for all things KnowledgeWell, including shirts, hats, jackets, cups, bumper stickers, and more. For all this and much, much more, as well as for any questions or comments, email to knowledgewell4u@gmail.com or go to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site. And now, you've been made free. What are you going to do with it? All right. Welcome. Come on in. Thank you for being here. Let me know how the sound is. I want to say salutations to our first responders, to borrow a term from Crumb TV, our first responder. So we'll give shouts outs to Her Diamond Bay, I think that is. Hey, says, hey, King, over at our TikTok page. TikTok viewers, if you want to view the disclosures, the presentations that I use on the whiteboard, as well as digitally on the computer, and then you want to go over to our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel on YouTube, so that you can see the demonstrations. We go in depth here, fact-based and in-your-face information that you cannot find anywhere. And if you so happen to be able to find it somewhere, it will not be delivered like you can get it here. All right, unparalleled, unprecedented, right here at KnowledgeWell Media
YouTube channel, and now our TikTok family joins us as well, live on the phone. In a moment, we will open up the panel here on the TikTok platform so that you can join us and share your points of view on the topics that we discuss. All right, so thank you. Come on in. So honored to be here. Thanks for having me. Absolutely, Her Diamond. We are so pleased to have you here. Heather Bell is in the building as well over at our TikTok and saying salutations, greetings, and salutations. All right, Sigma Male. Thanks for being here. Make sure you're hitting that screen. You guys are doing a bang-up job already. Vigorous. KnowledgeWell. What's cracking, boy? Sigma Male is in the building as well. Let me look at the KnowledgeWell YouTube channel. Please do me a solid and let me know if there are any complications with any of the video or audio quality. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So Self-Style 7 says Grand Rising to the family. Thank you for being here. Terry Camp is in the building over at our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. Thank you for being here as usual. One of my greatest or greater supporters. Greatly appreciate you for being here. I think you work on Sundays. So again, thank you for the sacrifice. How's the sound? How's the video quality? Eileen Renee Jackson is in the building saying hello to the family. Come on in. Make sure you're sharing this live out. You know how we do here. All right. Amazing information, hard hitting and in your face. So share it out to everybody. Let me know how the sound and the video quality is before we get going. We will be doing demonstrations on the board here behind me. If you would like to see it more clearly and on a larger scale, you have to go over to our YouTube channel, which is KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. All right. So if you are interested in that, otherwise you will only be subject to the phone perspective that I have in front of me. All right. Make sure you're sharing this live out, and we're going to get going here in short order. We have set a heart goal over on TikTok for 100K. So please tap that screen as vigorously as often as you can. And I greatly appreciate that. Help us to reach that goal, 100K. BB Productions is here at the KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel saying the sound is good. Terry Camp says video and sound are good. Awesome. Now, I have a lot. It's just me. Video seems a bit dark. Okay, let me see what I can do about that. The video seems a bit dark. You know what I put a light in front of me here that may be affecting the camera view. That might be. Let me see if I can tone it down just a bit. Stay right where you are. Things are going to get very interesting. Let me see. Does this help? Does that help? Let me know as quickly as possible. I don't want to keep the people waiting too long. They're here for remedy. They're here for clarity, and we're going to make sure that they walk away with it today. All right. I've been, while we're waiting, video seems to be a bit dark. Looks better. Okay. So I had to dim the light that is in front of me. Little highlighter light that I put there. So if it's too bothersome, just let me know, and I will do my best to fix it. All right, we got 82 people, 78 now in the TikTok channel. We have our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel joining us as well. Greatly appreciate you all for being here. All right, let's see. I was saying I have a phone right here, 3 screens in front of me, and we'll be doing some whiteboard demonstration as well as internet query. So just bear with me. This is kind of new for me, but I'll do my best. Okay. Sigma Male says you're good, bro. All right. Thank you very much. Particle X7 is in the building. Thank you for being here. It's probable the person needs to adjust his own screen brightness. Okay. So hopefully it's better. If not, let me know and I can take a break. Sigma Male says, y'all stop that picking ass ish. Shaking my head. Now, it's okay. I depend on the family to make sure that I'm delivering great quality and what have you. So it's okay. I appreciate everybody having my back. That's how we put on a great presentation and make sure that you get quality. All right. That's what you deserve. And that's what we're going to deliver. All right. Now, okay, let me find where I'm at. One moment. All right. So we're going to have a thought-provoking conversation. today, and we're going to invite our TikTok panel up here in short order. We're at 4.1K. Our goal is 100K as far as hearts on TikTok. YouTube family, please share, like, subscribe the YouTube channel. Why don't you share it to your Facebook channels and what have you right now? Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button as best you can and as often as you can. And we're going to get going on our topic here shortly. All right. I do somewhat of a lecture style because I like to present facts concerning the subject matter, not just conjecture. Yeah, I have a lecture style, but we also have invited our TikTok family to join us, and therefore the panel will be open for discussion. So I already have people wanting to join. I'm going to have to set a moderator here shortly. Her Diamond, I'm going to welcome you to the panel. Just please mute yourself up coming in. I greatly appreciate that. Let's see here. Eileen, it looks like you want to join us as well. All right, bring the ladies on. I love the perspective. We keep it balanced. We keep it fun. We keep it informational here. We're here not to per se argue anything, but I welcome a healthy debate because that is how the people, the audience, learns and can take something away. All right. Okay. Unknown Zero is in the building. I've been working on pronouncing that because it's been mute your phone notifications. All right, let me work on that right now. I'm going to mute my phone notifications so I can stop bugging you. All right, Unknown Zero is in the building. Let's see here. Unknown Zero. All right, I'm going to set you up for moderator. I'm assuming that is fine with you.
That's cool.
All right, very good. Welcome back. Thank you for being here as usual. You've been a mainstay for us here on our inaugural, time out on this particular platform. I'm going to turn up the mic. What I need is for the YouTube participants. Heather Bell says she can be mod too. Okay. All right. Very well. Let me set up Unknown Zero. He's been doing a very good job as of now. And so I'm just gonna pick him, but I appreciate that, Heather Bell, as usual. If need be, if Unknown Zero needs to step away or is abducted by aliens or something to that effect, then we'll put you up there. All right. And yeah, so let me set you up real quick as moderator. We got one more spot. Let's see if somebody else can make that spot. Boost the Brave is in the building, wants to accept that final spot on the panel. Please mute up as you come on in. Let me set the moderator up real fast here so we can get cracking. It's going to be a great topic, thought-provoking and in your face. All right. Unknown Zero, I believe you're already set up as moderator. All right. Very good. Thank you for that. All right. Unknown Zero, are you able, I'm not familiar with seeing things from the other side of TikTok from your perspective. Are you seeing the title for today?
I think that it shows, it only shows the title when you first come in the room. But if you scroll all the way down, like if you're in the chat room, it should see it. Let me see. Because normally when I first come in the room, it shows the title, but now if I'm looking for it, I can't really find a title. But so I'm not seeing no title. Has anyone else seen the title? Damn it.
Anybody on the panel? While we're waiting on that, to my YouTube family, if you would, please let me know if you can hear the TikTok, because I have my phone mic'd. So let me know that you can hear them clear before we get going here, would you? I appreciate that. Go ahead.
For the title, for everyone to see it, maybe a background, use one of the background bars, the virtual background. Damn that title, man. Come on, man. All right, go ahead, man. I'm just anxious to see the title.
Can y'all hear him over at the KnowledgeWell YouTube?
I can't hear you, Sigma. Was that only Only the host got the title. So you're saying, no, you can't see it from your screen. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. So I was telling the host, like, maybe you could have one of the virtual backgrounds in the future. That way the title is always shown, you know, in the top, where someone comes, they know exactly what's the subject about, stuff like that. Because I think that's what the concern is, that if someone just comes and then they just hear the middle of a dialogue, I'm not sure what's being talked about. But when there's a title, they could expect that at one point in the dialogue, it'll go back to the title, the original topic. When people put the graphics, they put the text up there, I mean, and then like it's up there at all times.
Okay.
This is straight up.
All right, I'm just trying to, the last thing I'm doing here now is trying to make sure that my YouTube family are able to hear y'all in y'all conversation. They're saying it's very faint, so I'm trying to fix that real quick before we get going. How's that sound now, everybody over at YouTube? Is it better? Okay, sound is good. All guys says sound is good. All right, we can't hear the panel, tiny and faint. Well, all guys are saying it's fine. I don't understand. Unknown Zero, did you have anything you want to discuss so we can get this mic check? It was better before you moved.
Do you have a topic of the day that you're willing to present today, or are we just freestyling?
No, we actually have a title. One moment. I'll see. It's the disclosure. One moment. Hold on. The disclosure. Let me get back to my account here. On KnowledgeWell Media YouTube.
You pull up the title. As far as me, like, one of the stuff I definitely like to get some more information, because I know last time we were talking about the artificial person, and then now we're talking about the corporation and the block law. When I'm looking at corporation, it says an artificial person or legal entity created by or under the authority of the laws of a state or nation. So I'll just stay there in the description. So we could talk more about that. How now do we create this artificial person on the corporation side, and to incorporate it has a administrator, an administrator capacity to take over the I guess the public side of the trust, where it's like the people, the states are the grantor, and the public officers are the trustee. But technically, how do you make the corporation now incorporate to the public trust has the administrator?
Okay, so can you do me a favor? Just simplify the question. Give me one stage, like one. Okay.
So, first stage of the question is definitely is like, we know the corporation is an artificial person, and we know like you were saying, the suit on the public side is also an artificial person. And the difference between these two artificial persons is that the corporation, you will have a different status. I'm not sure if I'm losing you, but that's what I'm trying to say. How do you make the corporate person, I guess in other words, we call the other person the strawman. How do you make the corporation, like the corporation you create with your EIN under your own trust, become the I guess in the administrative capacity for the public trust, or for even though you say they don't intertwine, so, or explain why they don't intertwine, and how do you still have the same benefits running a corporation to it by a corporation? I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, real quick, I just want to intercede with that, because on my particular trust, what I did was I went to the IRS website, and they have an EIN. They have an EIN number for a plan administrator. That's going to be a separate document that's filed with the IRS, similar to like when you get a business or when you get a trust. I also have a plan administrator EIN, because from my perception and what I have perceived when it comes down to the setting yourself up like as the executor and things like that, I have understood that just like Walmart, they have a president, vice president, CEO, CFO, they have a secretary, they have a plan administrator. So I just think that we should set ourselves up just like Walmart. Same thing they have with the United States of America, which has a president, vice president, secretary, department of treasury. You know, that's just from my perception, but you can get that EIN number, plan administrator EIN number as well, and you can incorporate all of that and like your security, hold harmless agreement, you know, your UCC1, your UCC3, you can include all of those documents in your trust too. You know, it's just about, remember guys, you are the creator, you are the lowercase God, you are the person who is going to be running the show. So my perception is just that when it comes down to the administration portion as well. I'm gonna let somebody else out.
Anybody else want to chime in on TikTok before I get to run in my mouth?
With clarity, you're seeing the way you do it is to by creating an EIN. And I guess you were gonna say something, Sigma, bro.
So KnowledgeWell Media YouTube, what I'll do is I'll put an invite link in the comment section. If you would like to come up yourself and chime in, you can do that by following the link that'll get you into the back door of the studio. You could also join us over at our TikTok channel, KnowledgeWell Media TikTok channel, and vice versa, our TikTok channel. If you want to join us over at our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube, feel free to do so on the YouTube channel, KnowledgeWell Media. All right, so let me put this link, invite link, in the comment section. Let's see if that's what yeah, okay. Let me do that. All right, it is now in the comment section. All right, very good. It is now in the comment section. So if anybody wants to join us on our on the KnowledgeWell Media YouTube side or StreamYard side, whichever, feel free to do so. All right, as far as our TikTok family, we are just getting going. Thank you for being here. And the title for today, the subject matter of the day, I'll get right back to you, Unknown Zero, is the disclosure, the real truth. The real truth. How many of you know that there are lots of truths out there? But what we are looking for is the real truth in this late hour. Meaning, what I mean by late hour is that there are a whole lot of different platforms and channels you can go to that are spewing information, mostly conjecture. They're not doing their due diligence and fact-checking fact-based information. All right, and so we pride ourselves here at KnowledgeWell Media as providing you with that fact-based information, not conjecture, and it just makes sense. All right, so just laying down the foundation here, we teach from the letter of the law. And I know a lot of people are disenfranchised with the states, with the governments, and what have you, and they're feeling like the government has failed them. They're feeling like there's so much corruption. They're feeling like they have lost most of their what they know as natural rights, God-given rights, and what have you. But I contend here that in spite of all the corruption, that the system still works. It's evident in the fact that we have multimillionaires, we have billionaires that are a multiplicity of cultures, nationalities, and colors, right? So the system, from that standpoint, works, because it's not just YT people that can be millionaires. You too, if you look like me, you can also be a millionaire. And that's been proven time and time again. So the question is, what are we doing wrong? And what are they doing right? That's the question. That's what we get to. And today's topic is the disclosure. We're going to disclose it for you to give you that esoteric and occultic information that you need to succeed. I like that. That kind of rhyme. It did rhyme, in fact. So today's topic, the disclosure, the real truth. We are live at KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. We are also live on our TikTok platform as well, but going by the same name. Your humble but professional host is Unknown Zero over on the TikTok channel. All right, so let's get the discussion going. Unknown Zero, I'm going to have you ask that question one more again because I was kind of fine-tuning some things, and I'm going to invite up Boost the Brave. I thought I did in the first place, but I guess he's coming back around.
It sounds good. By the way, welcome everyone to the panel. And, let's enjoy a great day and let's have great dialogues. Now, as far as for the question, it was like just simple. We just kind of touching back on what we were discussing last time and, getting to the next phase of it. So technically, a corporation in Black Law Dictionary is described as an artificial person or legal entity created by or under the authority of the laws of state or nation. And then I know last time we were talking about the status of someone under, I guess, the citizen classification as a citizen, but now as a private citizen. So I was trying to say, how do you incorporate when you have a corporation, the artificial person, to now represent I guess it's still a citizen, but technically to be in the administrative capacity of a citizen to make decision for that trust account or to take over that trust account in that capacity and is recognized in law, technically.
All right, so a great question. Appreciate that. We are essentially continuing from last week's discussion, I believe it was. So the disclosure, the real truth is the topic. And yes, right now, all right, when you come in as a citizen, all right, which I know people are disenfranchised with right now, but let's bring some clarity to that. All right, when you come in as a citizen, merely as a citizen, right, obviously we can get deeper into that discussion, going to mom's signing and filling out of the birth certificate worksheet and what have you. But when you come in raw, legally incompetent, a minor in the eyes of the law. And that law that we are discussing is known as positive law or man-made law, enactments of a duly authorized legislature that is governed by statutes, as it were. All right. And so you are looked at, again, from the standpoint of the law as a sole proprietor. You don't come in with any corporate persons or extra layers that protect you and insulate you from the effects of commerce and trade. You come in a brand new babe. All right. And so you are supposed to grow in your education, furthering, what do they call it? When you go on past high school and you graduate from high school and you get into more Ivy League or more upper echelon or higher education, they call it higher education for a reason. All right. It's because you've gone beyond the status quo of a mere citizen, and now you've matured and I'll say appreciated up into the higher educational system, college and what have you. And so that, again, if you don't do that, though, then you make up part of that, or you make up a percentage, and 97% of United States citizens who do not own a corporation, meaning there's only 3% that really do. And if you don't own a corporation, then you absorb all liability as a type of sole proprietor. That's the way it's looked at in the eyes of the law. Now, what Unknown Zero is asking about is this thing called, or this capacity known as an administrator or executor. There is a difference between the two, mind you. And until you learn to properly administer your own estate on your own behalf, someone else is going to do it for you. And so this is where the public trust comes in. We went over last week that there are actually 3 trusts to consider. There may be more in this discussion, but we are staying with the fundamentals, the 3 fundamental trusts. The one trust being the public trust. Public suggests government. Government, your state government, right? Because the states are individual sovereign nation states. So you have the public trust, And then you have your birth trust that's created when you're born. Obviously, mom fills out an application to the state, right, requesting a birth certificate, which is evidence of citizenship. And citizenship is the legal link to the state. Yes, you have to be legally linked to the state because you are a natural human otherwise, right? So how can the natural have parity with an artificial person, aka a state? It's not possible. And so mom fills out an application to the state, that artificial person, going to the public trust, and enters into a type of trust scenario thereafter. Okay, so that's the second trust. Then the third trust we discussed from last week is the private trust, going to Unknown Zero's question. There's a private trust. You can take over and start to administer your own affairs and your own estate when you become legally competent. When you ascend above a mere public school education, you can essentially begin to administer your own estate. And you do that by establishing private trusts. You can also create other artificial persons known as corporations, as Unknown Zero alluded to. You have that power to do that. But let me just state this and then close my mouth a little bit. Until you do that, until you create a separate person in law, an artificial person or persons in law, then you are deemed a sole individual proprietorship. And what does that mean to you? It means that you now absorb 100% liability. So when the tax man comes and looks for the individual taxpayer, he or she comes directly to you. You are solely liable. Okay. When a citation or a ticket is issued, it is issued in your name. It is affixed to your social security number, and therefore you feel all the effects and take on all the liability thereby. Okay. So this is the consideration, but, and I'll end with this, but the alternative is to have a separate corporation under which and through which you can enjoy a type of limited liability. That's what corporations afford you. But once again, and lastly, until you do this, until you come to that higher understanding, and until you gain one of these artificial persons in law, you will absorb all liability. And that's what a corporation will do. Hopefully that's tracking for everybody. As far as the I know that Unknown Zero, you're asking, I just didn't want to go too fast, too far without laying down a basis and a fundamental basis upon which we can launch from. Does that part track to everybody, what I just stated?
Yes, I'll let other people come in, but definitely, I definitely pick up some points in there. Well, yeah, just to clarify, then, since no one else is talking, just to clarify, so you're saying technically, at the time someone is birthed, for the artificial person, just in relation to that, the one that is automatically created by the system is like is considered a sole proprietor, like a LLC, and that's what how do you call it, kindergarten, but that.
You're breaking up, Unknown Zero. Every other word.
That's when the comes in.
Yeah, you broke up. You broke
now
up.
You're actually. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're just breaking up every other word. Yeah.
I'm not sure what word it stopped, but so just to bring clarity, you're saying at birth the account automatically made for someone is a sole proprietor, LLC, and then once they're ready to manage their affair, they have to go ahead and make a corporation. And I guess you're getting to the question where I'm saying, how do you incorporate those together and make the corporation now in the newer capacity to handle those affairs. Because technically, the reason why I'm saying you have to use you still have to use the old account, because that old account already have all the relationship established at birth, correct?
Yeah. So if you're talking about, you can invite somebody else up too. We got one slot on the panel, unknown zero. But yeah, so now I know there's this teaching that you can own the name, that you can patent or trademark the name and use that, and that you're going to take over the legal person and what have you. Now, in the eyes of the law, they're not going to recognize you separating yourself from the legal personality. What is this legal personality we're talking about? Well, again, in order to participate in the realm of the artificial, which a state is known as an artificial person, in order for a human to participate in there, you must wear a legal personality, meaning a mask. That's where the term person comes from. It's a persona. In Latin, that is a legal personality. So each one of you, as citizens of the particular state and of the state of the United States, were issued a legal mask, a persona, because the world is a stage. Everybody is acting and playing a particular role. And that particular role establishes your capacity and your standing in relation to the state or the government. Okay. And so that is necessary. That is a no-brainer. Everybody has it. Okay. If you want to argue that, we can go into fact finding or in a little bit. But to unknown zero's point, now, when you become of what they call the age of the majority, all right, which by law means you are legally competent to handle your own affairs. Okay. There's no distinction made between you per se by the law and that artificial person. But the artificial person enjoys and possesses a social security number, an identification number, right? And so, yes, you know that you are human and you are not that artificial person. True, right? That is true. You know that you're not. But it's the stage play cannot proceed unless every actor agrees to stick to its script. Likewise, in your going to your citizen or in your state, if you refuse to stick to the script being the bylaws, the statutes of the particular state in which you reside, and you want to reveal the script to the audience, you want to blow the cover, you want to be what they call a whistleblower and blow the cover off this artificial presentation that we were looking to convince the crowd, the audience, that we're great actors. We were looking to sell them the game. That's why they paid $150 for their tickets, because they wanted to be entertained. They wanted to be convinced that what they're about to watch for 2 hours is so real to them. It's Halloween, right? If you particularly celebrate it and enjoy it, the functionality of it, you're going to go to a spooky house. Is it that you think that Jason Voorhees is really in there? Is it really that you believe that Freddy Krueger is in the spooky house, the haunted house? No. But you enjoy the function. You enjoy the camaraderie. You enjoy being frightened by men and women in masks. It's part of the game. So we do it every year, once a year. All the state is asking for is for your citizen, during the time of your citizenship, that you do the same thing. Just play along with the rules to the game. Everybody knows that it's artificial, obviously. I mean, you got policemen or Leo running around in costumes. You got judges still wearing robes in 2024. Everybody's wearing a freaking costume. So nobody's trying to hide or deny the fact that the state is an artificial person. You know, nobody's denying that. But for the purposes of functionality, right? For the purposes of government, an organization of state, they're just asking that you play along. That's all they're doing. All right, to make it simple. Now, when you come of this understanding, you won't try to illegitimize and delegitimize it. Why? For the same purpose and reason that you will sit down for 2-3 hours and play Monopoly, the game of Monopoly. You know you're not the dog. You know you're not the car. You know, these little tokens that represent you going around the board. You full well know that that's really not you. You full well know that when you are assessed a tax, luxury tax, you land on it. You full well know that that does not affect your BMO, Harris, and Chase account. You full well know this, right? This is how they expect you to act in civilization. Full well knowing that this is artificial. But we need this artificial system. This is the only way that we can institute government. And those governments derive their just powers from your consent. That's all they're asking you to do. So in order to play the game, well, we're going to get to your question. I think, Unknown Zero, I think your question there goes to the remedy side of things. And that's why I'm having a hard time just jumping right to that, because we got a program, a longer program. So I want to make sure that everybody gets those basic and fundamental truths, that don't take it personal. All right. I would try and hit that song, that note, but it's a little early in the game. I'm still warming up my vocals. But that's the truth of the matter, is don't take this personal. If you full well understand and can make the distinction between the public and the private, the artificial and the natural. If you know that, then you don't need to then you don't need to disclose. You don't need to become a whistleblower. And you don't need to divulge the secrecy of your own society. You created the government. True in being that there may be some corruption. I'm still not awake yet, y'all. Bear with me.
And I know you're waiting to get to the remedy part. I guess while you're going to the details, can you also give a little more detail? So when you make the other mask, the corporate mask, does it become on top of the original mask they created for you? Or now it becomes a separate mask you're wearing?
Good question. See, that's why you're the moderator. That's a good question. So any other mask, subsequent mask that you create, meaning any other artificial person that you create, please mute up if you're coming in. Any other mask that you create, masked, legal person, personality, et cetera, right? Corporation, LLC, excuse me. It does not per se go over the top as much of your citizenship mask, as much as it is a separate and distinct legal person. Are y'all ready to go to whiteboard? I think we might be ready to go to whiteboard. I need to stretch out anyways. Let's go to the whiteboard. Hey, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, right? let's go to the land of make-believe. All right, so I'm gonna go to the whiteboard. That requires that I got to spin my camera around on TikTok. So bear with me, all right? And help me square it up so that you can see it the best. All right, let's get going. Let's go to the land of make-believe. Shall we? Remember Mr. Rogers? All right.
Well, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna flip the camera on. Flip the camera. I'm loving this. Hey, helping people is what it's all about for me. All right. So y'all gotta help me square up this camera, because I can't see what y'all can see because I had to flip my camera around, or the phone. Excuse me. Tell me what I have to do. I can't see. On KnowledgeWell Media YouTube, I'll switch to the whiteboard and let's get this demonstration going. All right, we have TikTok live on the phone. Let me know that you can hear me good. All right. Hi, KnowledgeWell Media. Where are we at? TikTok. Can you see the board?
Yeah, we could see the board, and we'll let you know how clear the writing is. But we could see the board and we could see you.
All right, it's squared up good.
The board's a little on the left side, so if you could move the camera more to the left, balance it out more to the middle.
This way?
Yeah, more to the left, a little more. There you go. No, that's right. Left, the other way.
Well, it's opposite for me.
Okay.
So this way?
So your right or left? So move it more to your right, facing our direction.
Like this?
Yeah, move it more to your right hand. Currently in the position you are. Move it towards your right hand.
This, I'm going right.
Yeah, there you go. Now a little, you went too far. A little more. There you go. Stop there.
All right, y'all can see good.
And then you gotta move your body more to the, now to your left. Like you were walking backward. There you go. That's good there. Now we can see the board completely. There you go.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay, let's get going. So hopefully everybody can see. TikTok is good. Okay. YouTube is good. All right. So everybody can see. Hallelujah. Happy day of the sun. Here we go. All right. All right. So, all right. I'm going to do my best. I mean, typically I used to be an artist, but I haven't drawn in a while. So you just have to bear with me. Don't laugh at me. Okay. All right. So here's a face. He's got a G for an ear. Can y'all hear me good? Everybody can hear me good. TikTok, YouTube, you can hear me good? Yes? I can't hear anybody. Just let me know.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. YouTube, you can hear me good? Okay. So here's the face. All right. Now this represents you as the human being. All right. This is the human. Okay. This is how you come in. A brand new baby born on the planet, whatever planet you think we're in. Okay. All right. All right. So what happens is that you take on citizenship. I got to get warmed up here. Citizenship. Okay. Now, citizenship is evidenced by the birth certificate, a U.S. birth certificate. That's what citizenship is evidenced by. That is found in the PALMS manual. All right. The Social Security Administration's PALMS manual says the U.S. birth, I'm abbreviating, birth certificate is the evidence of U.S. citizenship. It is also the evidence that you possess a legal name. You're going to find out why those correlate with each other. Okay. Legal name. Okay. Now, so you have the human, the natural human, that eventually through the birth process and all that kind of stuff receives citizenship. Okay. Now, what is citizenship? Citizenship is the legal link. Legal link. This is the legal definition to state. Okay. That's what citizenship by definition means. Okay. So at citizenship, you gain a legal link to the state. Because remember, the state, as I stated before, is artificial. So you need some type of a link between the human and the state. This is known as, again, citizenship. What is citizenship? Yeah. What do you get? What does a citizen get at citizenship? You get civil and political rights. All of your evidence, however, that you are a citizen of the particular state or the United States is the U.S. birth certificate. Now, I have security paper right here. Okay? Yeah, security paper right here. What is the significance? Excuse me. What is the significance of this security paper? Nothing, except it has watermarks embedded in it, right? But what gives it authority? What gives it power is what is affixed or printed upon it and the signature of the authorized representative. That's what gives it actual power. Until I affix my signature upon it, it just is paper. Likewise with the birth certificate. It also is printed on security paper, but it is not the birth certificate or the security paper that gives it the power. What gives it the power is the seal of the state or the United States and the signatures and the legal name affixed upon it, which names the registrant, who the document is registered to. Okay? And so with that being said, what now is the legal link to the state then? Citizenship, which is evidenced by the U.S. birth certificate, which has the legal name affixed to it. Okay? So hopefully everybody's picking up what I'm putting down because we're moving forward. So then you have the human who takes on citizenship or the legal name. Did my phone fall? Can y'all still?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like halfway on the board. Yeah.
That's because for some reason people decided to blow my phone up right now. How's that?
That's good. And go ahead. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So the human takes on the legal name, the U.S. birth certificate, etc., etc. Oh my God. Let me check my phone. I don't know why somebody's blowing me up. Hold on.
Yeah, and when you come back on, push it up so where we can see it. You can't see, we can only see the bottom half.
All right, hold on.
Since we have this interruption, like before we go too far on the next part of explanation while you figure out who's calling you and all of that, is there a difference between a state and a city?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between a state and a city. Geez.
Yeah, and what I be saying too about those definitions too, I always teach at the university to make sure you look up the definition because it's a legal and lawful definition. And then you got Wikipedia definition, you got Google definition. My advice for words like state and estate and trust, you want to look those words up on a lawful level so that you will know the definition, such as Law Carnell or Black Law Dictionary. That's what I use whenever I look up the terms, because really the confusion all starts is with the words being put together in a sentence. But for instance, the car is red. You get what I'm saying? The has a definition, car has a definition, and red has a definition. You get what I'm saying? So I just recommend the definitions to those words.
For sure. That's what I was asking while Knowledge come back. Because like in Black Law Dictionary, city is more like a corporation. And if I'm not mistaken, state is the body of the people agreeing to, I guess, to a certain law or certain customs. But the state is really the people coming together. But the state also could be seen as sovereign. So I'm seeing there's a citizen, and now it is making me ask, does citizenship falls under the state or does it fall under the city?
Yeah, I believe that it will fall under the state because remember, like I'm saying, really like everybody be like public and private, stuff like that. When I really look up the definition of private and the definition of public, in reality, I be feeling like because we have access to our birth certificate and our social security number, that is already in our possession. We already are operating as a private agent. We do business publicly, but I really believe that the state has an EIN number, but the United States has one, the USA has one, United States of America has one, which all those are corporations, which, you know, you got your C Corp and your S Corp, which has different businesses up under it. So really the US is the main head, but they have like the state of Michigan, the state of Florida, the state of Canada. Those individuals have EIN numbers as well.
So I'm saying, is it the state that has the EIN number? or is it the city?
It's the state. It's the state, because I don't think Jacksonville has an EIN number, because I'm in Florida. Florida has an EIN number, but Jacksonville doesn't. So, like, for instance,
that's what I'm trying to tell you. The city of Jacksonville has it though, because based on the Black Law Dictionary, that's what I'm just going by. City is the corporation, and state is more like the body of the people that came together. You know?
Right.
And yeah, and a citizen is not a private citizen. A civilian is a private citizen. But good.
All right. All right. So appreciate your patience. So I was trying to fine tune everything. I'm definitely gonna have to get some mic stands or something like that, or phone stands. But let's continue on. Just let me know if there's any other issues, please. I appreciate that. I've tried to set something up so I can kind of see.
For the TikTok camera, you need to push it up some so it can show the full board, because it's only showing half of it. Maybe you can push the bottom up. Yeah, like that. Perfect.
All right, hold on. All right. How's that? How's that?
That's good. Just align it more to your left. Like, yeah, there you go. That's good.
Okay, so we're good. All right. Let's get it going. All right. I got.
Before you go to the next stage, just a quick clarification: the difference between the city and the state, or are they the same when you're talking about the state?
No. The city is the municipality. There's particular municipalities. The state is the hub, the main hub, where the seat of the government is. Like Washington, D.C., the hub, the central government, centralized government. So all the municipalities have a centralized government, the state. Okay? It's usually, the state of Wisconsin, centralized hub.
So are they both corporation and different corporation? Because in the Black Law Dictionary it also shows that government is just an agency of the state or the city, or saying like that kind of describes it. I'm not next to it now, but in a little bit I'll be.
All right. Well, let's table that one so that we can. Okay, we'll table that one and get back to it. Okay. All right. So let's get back to this. So the basic and fundamental. All right. So the human, again, natural, on the natural scale, and I should make that distinction, shouldn't I? Here we go. Just consider this that bar we talked about last week, where the bar keepers, okay? So that, because this is the natural side, and then this is the artificial side. Hopefully you can see this red marker. I just wanted to make some distinction. This is natural law. This is artificial or positive law or man-made law. Statutes, codes, and ordinances across the bars where the humans dwell. Underworld, heavenly places, as the scripture would call it. That's all this is. It's all man-made. Don't get me on my soapbox. Religions, doctrines, those teachings, scriptures, it's all man-made. It all belongs on this side, okay? Because the natural is what it is. It's natural because it doesn't need man constructs. It doesn't need anything artificial to improve upon it, to make it go faster, to make it last longer, GMOs and preservatives. It doesn't need man manipulation. That's what artificial is. Man-made constructs. Religions, again, scriptures, all of it, educational system, it all belongs over there in artificial. Natural is good by itself. It does not need any help. All right. And so we have the natural law, moral law, God's law, humanity, animals. Okay. And then everything else on the other side of the ledger. All right. As it were. So the man becomes a citizen, right? So a citizen is a legal status. It is not on the natural side. It's state, it's government, okay? And so in order for a human to interlope or intercourse, that's a commercial term, intercourse, it's intercourse and commerce are the same thing, all right, as in sexual intercourse, right? That's what it is. So a human is looking to intercourse into the underworld, the artificial, the land of the corporations or corpse or unalive bodies, all right? And so in order to do that, he or she must take on a legal status, okay, in order to go into the underworld. If you want to have a mental picture of it, think about humans exploring the deep sea, all right? Typically and naturally, your body does not belong there. That is evident because when you spend any duration of time in the element of the underworld or under the sea or sea of commerce, you'll notice your skin begins to wrinkle. You'll notice that if you stay too long, you might get hypothermia. Oh, I got to do this. TikTok wants me to, hold on. I got to verify that I'm still here. All right, I think we're good. All right. Okay, so you'll notice effects on your natural body. All right, like I said, wrinkling, hypothermia can set in. You'll notice a whole lot of negative things start to happen as your body starts to break down because you are not naturally supposed to be there under the sea in the water for absorbent amount of time. And so with that being said, you must insulate yourself. You have to protect your body if you plan to go where you're not supposed to be at. And so we use scuba suits. We, technologically, we use submarines, right? And we can stay under there longer than we could in our natural status. Well, the same thing works here because the underworld is the sea of commerce. The humans do not belong there normally or naturally. And so we layer ourselves in order to submerge, okay? And so that's what these legal persons are. So citizenship is a layering over the human, an artificial man-made construct that basically, what's that term? We used to do it in lead removal, lead abatement, encapsulating. It encapsulates the face of the human. We use the analogy or the storyline of the Matrix. Remember when Neo was presented from Morpheus with the pills? He took the pills. That eye was opened. He went over to the mirror. Neo went over to the mirror and he looked in the mirror and he beheld himself in the mirror. This bar represents that mirror that you humanly have to consider and look at in contemplation of whether to go into the legal realm, the underworld, under a citizenship into the state, the artificial state. Once you do that, if you choose to go down that rabbit hole, which is what Neo did, he touched the mirror and it's consumed him, completely encapsulated him. He turned into some metallic being like the T1000 or T2000, and then went down the rabbit hole into the Matrix. Remember that? This is what each and every one of us have done through the act of citizenship, which is an act of incorporation into the state. That's what incorporation is, to create a separate legal entity. Look up the legal definition of incorporation. Usually I would be looking these things up, pulling these things up on screen, but as you can tell, I'm a little overwhelmed right now. Eventually I need some kind of production company that can help me, because this here, if you can see what I can see right now, it's a daunting task to try to do all this at once, but I appreciate your patience. Excuse our dust as we renovate here. So with that being said, you through citizenship go down that rabbit hole. Okay. And so follow the white rabbit, right? Down the rabbit hole. And so the natural man, once again, has his face encapsulated by the legal artificial person, and in this case, inducted into the citizenship of the state or the government. And likewise, when you come out on the other side, it is no longer just your face, but it is, I'm just going to symbolize here, it is your face with a legal mask over the top. Now you have taken on what is called legal personality. Why is that important? Legal personality gives you recognition in law, the artificial known as positive law, or AKA statutes of the legislature, enactments of a duly authorized legislature. This is a completely different law. This is not where natural people, in fact, the House of Representatives website, and again, I would pull this up on the norm. If you look at positive law codifications, look under the the House of Representatives website. They'll explain to you the difference in this distinction, make the distinction between natural law and positive law. Okay, so we got natural law over here, and we got positive law over here. Positive law does not govern human or their conduct. Only natural law, as what I cited to, the House of Representatives website talks about natural law properly governing moral human, to quote, moral human conduct. This is distinct from that. They make that distinction and say positive law, therefore, does not, since it doesn't govern humans, what does positive law govern? Well, we find that it governs what are called artificial persons, aka juristic, or juridical type persons. Okay. In order to find out what those are, we've done that. You can look back in the archives, and we studied on this already. Those type persons are persons that are governed under positive law. That's what it says. If you look up the legal definition of jural, J-U-R-A-L, okay, that is in fact what is happening. So again, you don't need to take it personal as a human, because how can the artificial affect a human being? How can the the statutes per se harm or hurt you here? Okay, only in ignorance. The people are destroyed for what they do not know, is what the scripture says. The people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because you don't even realize that you are, in fact, a human being. You don't even realize that you're the one that created the governments in the first place. The roles are flipped in your mind. You are deceived. The Bible talks about the great deception. All of this is going to transhumanism, because when humans lose their consciousness of who they really are, what happens? They're easily tricked and fooled into believing they are. Okay? Do you believe in the boogeyman? Do you believe that the boogeyman is under your bed? I mean, do you know the difference? When you became an adult, you should have what does the scripture say? When I became a man, I put away childish things. You're supposed to have put that stuff away. And so all that is happening is we are slowly losing our humanity. That's the transhumanism movement. That's AI, right? That's the Optimus, the robot, is now coming on the scene. Pretty soon you're going to have robots all through your house doing everything. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the problem. They've been showing you in the movies for the longest. That one with Will Smith. What was that called? What was that movie called that he made? Not iRobot. I knew you were gonna say iRobot. That was kind of leading us in it. But what was that other one he did?
AI.
No. Gemini Man. If you haven't seen that movie, I suggest you see that movie. That is very telling. Looking at the comment section real quick in YouTube. Okay, all right, never mind. All right, so this is the basic fundamentals. This is citizenship. Citizenship is a legal link to the state. The mask is the persona, legal persona that you are given. When you are born, the two come together to never again be separated as long as the state exists. Why? Because the state itself is artificial, and so therefore its citizens are artificial as well. Must be, right? Because humans and artificial can't have parity with each other. But remember, it's just acting. It's just you're acting the role. If you're a firefighter, you're acting a role. You put on the uniform so that the public can recognize you. If you're a police officer, a Leo, you put on the uniform every day. You could wear jeans and a t-shirt. Why couldn't you do that to go to work? Well, because the public needs to recognize, remember that term, positive law, jural persons, persons that are recognized by positive law. So you must wear the mask so that the public can recognize who you are and what capacity you act in. That's why the cruisers, the police, why can't they just rock out a Ferrari? No, they can't. They all have the same type of cruiser, which is a type of ship, by the way. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But anyways, they have to wear the uniform. The public needs to know who is who. And therefore, you can judge what capacity each person is supposed to act in. The world is a stage. And so same thing with you. Okay. How is the public? That's why the distinction is made between what is public and what is private. How is the public going to know your capacity if you don't wear the mask in society? How are they going to know? That's why it's important. Because again, this whole thing was created by the people to regulate, to protect their rights, okay, to keep order and organization, because there was a point in time where there was none. You ever see the movie The Purge, where every man is his own government, basically, and just doing whatever? There can be all kinds of diabolical things happening. So the organization is not the enemy. We're going to go to the remedy in short order, but I want to lay down this foundation as we lead into the initial question by our humble and professional moderator. Is going to, when you take and become legally competent and you ascend from being a mere minor or looked at as a mere minor in law, how do you take control then of that status? How do you layer those in trusts and, the proper application, as opposed to all of these conjectural teachings and doctrines of your local guru, right? That's sending you down all kinds of pathways. No, it's straight up the middle. It's straight up the middle. Donald Trump, the Rockefellers, and all of the Clintons, they play the game. They win at the game. They excel, and 97% of Americans don't. Well, we're going to unlock why that is. All right, I'm going to open it up to the panel, take a break from talking for a moment on the YouTube channel. If you would like to get into the discussion, I have put the link in the comment section so that you can also join if you want to weigh in. That is your option. It is open to you. All right, with that being said, go ahead. Where you at, TikTok?
Basically, you talking about the difference between public and private, right?
I mean, that's the foundation. You have to know the difference between the two.
Yeah, I get it.
But more importantly, understanding the purpose of that mask that you wear. Not to take it personal, because the government, the state, whatever, is not really dealing with you from the human standpoint. They're dealing with you from in an artificial capacity.
It's crazy that you're speaking on this. This is the first time I heard of you, and I just came across your TikTok. And my first experience of what you were saying, when I had filed a landlord-tenant dispute against a landlord, right, for having uninhabitable, his apartment was basically uninhabitable. So, I did everything I could. I paid for mold results, paid for pest removal, all of that. And when I did discovery, the lawyer kept responding with, it's not up to code. It's not up to code. And here I am going to the law library every day trying to figure out, what is he saying? What is he saying? And then it comes to find out, me as being a human being, the natural living person, and not a corporate, being in an Article 1 court, I can't even interact with these people because I'm supposed to be a fictitious entity. A fictitious entity that can't have bills. He can't be hurt. He can't be, his lungs can't be messed up because of the mold. And it was just a deep understanding. And, I appreciate the way you're explaining it, because it comes across real well. I had to learn it the hard way.
Yeah. So when it comes to the claims, or can you mute up? You got a lot of background noise just while I'm talking. Yeah, so when it comes to cases in court and what have you, excuse me, KnowledgeWell, maybe I'm typing something here. Give me one moment. Here, I'll do this. TikTok Live on the phone. When it comes to claims, when it comes to litigations in court and those type of matters, it is a bit confusing to you because you weren't cultured in the legal realm. You didn't go to the schools and what have you, right? So yeah, it's tough to understand what is actually taking place. All of these legalities, all these different capacities. You got the plaintiff, you sit at this table, plaintiff, and sit at this table, defendant, and the judge is sitting up there in a robe or whatever. It's all daunting. It's all intimidating. But to those legal professionals and practitioners of the law, this is accustomed to them. Just like you go to work, this is, customary to them. Like when you go to work, after you've been there a year and 2 years, you can do this stuff in your sleep, right? Well, that's what they do. You know what I mean? They're there every day, all day, 10 hours a day. So to them, it's nothing. We come in there because we don't usually spend days in a courtroom. We come in there and it's like, oh Lord, this is so intimidating. This thing looks like a ship. Look at all the woodwork. Somebody, where did this come from? You're amazed by that. And then here they call you up by your name, by the name and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, yeah, you don't know what to do. And that's the way it's intimidating. The legal order is something else. I'm going to do a study on that. I've already done a study on that. If you want to look back in the archives, go digging for it. But it's set up strategically the way it is. It is meant to be intimidating. They use legalese, a dead Latin language, and they purposely contrive things. And there's legal loopholes, legalities. It's not necessarily whether you really did something or not. It's more about whether you can be caught. So it's a when the scripture's talking about the beast being the most subtle beast of the field, that term subtle means it comes from the word techne, using art or word art in a trickery format to get one's way. That's what that means. And so the beast represents a particular system. So I'll leave your brain spinning on that. You can figure out the type of system that really that deceiver really is. I've covered this, so you have to go back in the archives. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I want to comment off of what y'all talking about with the bank, right? With the court, right? Because when I look up the lawful definition of court, it says bench. The lawful definition of bank, it says court or bench, right? So boom. Really, when you go to court, you're going to the bank, which I study the banking side of things. I don't really study everything else, which I know about it, but my expertise is banking. So whenever you go to court, it is simply merely a banking transaction. The problem is that you don't know your position going into the bank or going into the matter, which in reality, a court is a bank. So you really are supposed to handle your banking business affairs. And with all of the charges, what's the first thing they say? What are the charges? Really, when you go to court, everybody in there need to hush because nobody was there. They don't have firsthand knowledge. Everything that's being said is hearsay. The judge is basically the referee, just like basketball, football. They have a referee. He's only the middleman. And it's just about really knowing your position from the beginning when you go into those transactions, including your regular bank account, including your bills. All of that is an account. So knowing your position from the beginning is going to help you with that. And then too, look up the definition of, like I always be saying, look up the definition of tenant, look up the definition of landlord. All those things deal with military. It really has nothing to do with a dwelling or a house, because a house is not a dwelling, which is not an apartment, which is not a townhome. You get what I'm saying? So it's the wordplay again. That's just really all I want to say.
Yeah, it is a particular system, and they have every right to do what they're doing because they are essentially a type of corporation in their own right. You know what I mean? They have the right to privately contract. If you so wish to contract for their services, they have the right to then offer those services, right? And so they formed a bit of a monopoly. They'll never admit to that because monopolies are supposed to be illegal. But it is. I mean, it's a brotherhood, just like the police administration, et cetera, et cetera. All right. I think we're getting off topic here a little bit. Moderator, you still there?
Yes. Give me 1 second. I'm just doing something real quick.
All right. I don't know if anybody else is trying to come up. If anybody is trying to come up.
Yes, I accepted.
Okay.
It was BB Production. Welcome to the stage.
Yeah. And then there's another slot available as well. All right. So hopefully everybody's picking up what we're putting down as far as the legal personalities, the mask that you wear. The topic today is the disclosure, the real truth. The real truth is you can win at this game called life. You just have to know the distinction and the difference between what is artificial and what is natural. Until you do that, you're not even really playing the game. If you are one of the 97% of United States citizens who do not own a corporation, you're not even playing the game yet. Okay. If you have not, and so since you're not yet playing the game, then you're not on your way to building credit or good credit with the system. If you're not on your way to doing that, then they're not going to acknowledge you as one that has obtained legal competence. So they see you still as a minor. Okay. I believe personally that every child, in middle school even should start to be cultured in the state laws and what have you, have maybe a couple semesters or whatever of law and what have you. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless you institute or create or construct your own school for your child or homeschool your children. And so likewise, that number, that 97% of United States citizens is probably going to stay the same. And it is what it is. I mean, if you live in the United States, you live in a capitalist society. That means that somebody else is going to capitalize or have the capability of capitalizing on your ignorance. That's where we live at, y'all. It is not my choice that's the way it is. So don't, pew the messenger. This is the fact. This is where you live at. And so what that means to me now, okay, is that I either learn this game or get the heck out. That's what that translates to me. So I just decided that I'm going to learn the game and I'm going to become better at the game than those who have used the game to play against me and my family. That's what that means. All right. The gloves are off. It ain't no fun, they say, when the rabbit has the pew pew. You know what I'm saying? So it's our time now. So anybody that wants to come along, you're at the right place. All right, is the point. All right. So let's get back on our topic.
Sounds like the age of majority to me.
Absolutely. And I have obtained it. Now, here's the other thing we learned and discussed last week. And that is people are thinking that there needs to be some kind of an expression in document form or on paper, and then send that off to several different agencies of state and of the U.S. government, and you think that that's going to do the trick. I can assure you that is not, because I happen to have a file cabinet right here down here and to my left. You can't see it because it's on the fourth wall, as they call it. But I got documents that I'm burning and throwing away and shredding up. I can't get rid of them. I've been doing this for so long. I've sent in all these explanatory statements, all of these, all of these papers, expressions, and affidavits of truth to all the various agencies of state and government, U.S. government, and to no fruition. Okay, because I found out why. I found out why they don't have to regard your paperwork, and just because they don't send it back does not mean that they've accepted it. Okay, let me just say that. And why don't they have to regard your paperwork, your expressions, your declaratory, explanatory statements, or whatever? Why? Because their only delegation of authority and duty and obligation is to the state statutes or to the federal or U.S. laws. That's it, and that's all. So if you are not articulating an expression in alignment with the state statute or the federal U.S. laws or constitutional laws, they can simply disregard it. And, you know, people have been known to try to say, well, I'm going to go after your bond. What are you going after the bond for? What do you think they're going to say? You think they're afraid? No. Why? Because as long as they look at their policies, and best believe that when they get something that they have to question, none of them want the liability. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go to their uppers, their supervisors, their managers, and they're going to say, have you seen this? I don't know what to do with this. I've never been taught how to deal with this. And then the manager is going to say, well, let me look at my uppers, and I'm going to look in our policies, our administrative policies, and see what it says, or their legal department. And then the legal department is going to say, disregard. That's one of those soft sit ideologies. Just disregard. Just don't even answer. And that's kind of what I found personally is happening. Okay, so again, this is why I teach here at KnowledgeWell Media, YouTube channel and TikTok, that if you want to get some movement, if you want to claim or assert a right, all you have to do is use what's called a legal, only make claims in alignment with a legally protectable interest. A legally protectable interest. What does that mean? That means that the Constitution on the state and federal level allow for one governmental body to create and enact laws. Every other subsequent branch of the government, the other two, the executive and the judiciary, merely interpret or execute. They cannot, on the side of the road, as one of the, as a member of the executive department, the Leo, they cannot become a judge and make a, you know, unless you empower them to, meaning you, there's a great suspicion, right? They're able to, what do they call it? A reasonably articulable decision, discretion or whatever. They're able to basically use the law, a loophole in the law or whatever, right, to arrest you or to tase you or pull you out of your automobile. And then they're going to come to court and they're going to say and make the claim or assertion as to why they were legally able to do what they did. That's what they do. Because, you know, but if it's just, you know, you're driving whatever and the Leo pulls you over, okay, they don't even want to hear basically your arguments. They don't want to hear your justifications as to why you're doing it. They really don't. They really don't even have to. All they're going to ask, they're going to go in accordance with their job. Their job is to identify who they're speaking to, right? And then to basically raise a suspicion, create a suspicion, investigate something or whatever. That's all they're able to do. So all of our extras, you and blah, they don't even have to entertain that. Really, they don't. You can call for the supervisor and the supervisor will come on the scene usually, right? But for the most part, they don't even have to entertain that because they cannot be or act as the judge or judiciary. They don't have they can't interpret law. The only body that has the delegation of authority under the government to interpret laws is the judiciary. That's it. The executive department can't do that. That'd be a violation of the separation of powers. So they can't interpret your presentation. See, this statute says this and this and this. And he says, I know you believe that, but I'm just doing my job. You know, show me your IDs, don't do that. But, you know, this Supreme Court ruling says this. Well, I can't sit here. This is what he or she wants to say as an officer. I can't interpret this with you. That's not my job. You're asking me to step into a judicial or judiciary delegation of authority. I can't do that. And that's why they get testy, because there's only so much they can do. They can't act as the legislative branch, meaning you come to something with them that is not in their administrative policies and procedures and try to make an argument with them on the side of the road. You're asking them to recreate law. You're asking them to create law right there on the side of the road. They cannot do that. That'll be a violation of the separation of powers because they are under one branch of government, the executive. That's where they get their delegation of authority. And that is it. And that's all. So we just have to, when you know better, you do better. That's what Mama used to say, right? So don't be upset. There's no reason. We now have remedy. We have a legally protectable interest. That is, this fly is literally trying to get into the lens of my camera. Come on. I don't want to take you out. Just go away. Look at, he landed right on my hand. You see that? I hope you ain't biting me. Just go. I don't want to hurt you. Go. Get out of here. You bother me, kid. Anyways, and so that's what it is, y'all. I mean that from the humblest standpoint, not as one that thinks he knows everything. I just been through a lot. I took my family through a lot because of these belief systems, okay? And I'm not saying everybody needs to go find their pathway. So you might need to learn some of these the hard way. Some people, I'm like that. Sometimes I just need to learn things the hard way. I need to know for myself. You ain't gonna tell me nothing and just expect that I'm gonna believe it, in other words, right? And so I respect that. I'm not stepping on your toes. If you feel like you need to learn this the hard way, you truly don't believe what it is that I'm saying based on my experience, then feel free. But if I can save you from going down some of these pathways when you don't need to, because I know what you want. I know what you want too. I know exactly what y'all both want. What y'all want is to basically breathe. You want the heavy burden of taxation and all that kind of stuff. You want to breathe. You want to feel fiscally and financially sound. That's what we all want. You don't want to have to worry where your next meal is going to come from. You want your refrigerator full all the time. I get it. You want to be able to drive something nicer, right? You might have come from a impoverished background. I get it. So what I'm going to tell you is we have remedy, and it's very simple. We're not going to recreate the wheel. We're going to do exactly what the founding fathers, there was a different time, but we're going to do exactly what Trump is doing because I know his playbook now. Yeah, I know his playbook, and that's what we teach. We're going to do exactly what the Clintons do, but we're not going to do all that other stuff. All right, now, don't come over here with that stuff. All right.
Real quick, let me make a motion. And great information, by the way. And I like how you share the information because I feel simplicity. Everything should be transparent, like a kid could get it. Now, what is the status of someone who's diplomatic or a diplomat? How does that play along with the corporate status versus the sole proprietor status, or the minor status versus, the grantor or administrator status versus the diplomat status?
All right, good question. And don't forget your other question too. We'll get back to that. Okay, we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna use that one as our home run hitter. Okay, but the question is going to status, and you said the status of a diplomat. Okay, let me just assure you, we went down this rabbit hole too. Okay, believe me, you ain't gonna have diplomatic status. You ain't gonna have diplomatic status unless you actually go to school or whatever and become one. Okay, but other than that, you're not gonna have diplomatic status as a citizen. There is no passport card I'm going to apply for through conventional means to the State Department using the DS-11 form, and you're going to all of a sudden have diplomatic status. It's not going to happen, y'all. Okay, it don't work like that. And in fact, when I was debating someone that was arguing that, in fact, I was able to pull up. I believe it's a convention. It's a convention where it talked about that even the wives and the family of a diplomat do not enjoy the same benefits of the diplomat that represents the particular country from which he or she comes. So you're not going to have that. That is not for you on this level, unless you get into ascend into politics and whatever, and you actually go through the legal process of becoming a diplomat. No document that you draft is going to give you diplomatic immunities or all that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen. I've already debunked that. Just stay away from that stuff. Let's keep it simple, okay? But as far as, can y'all see the screen on TikTok?
Yes.
All right. So I think I know what you're saying. The consideration is one, a diplomat, right? And you want to see how that is equivalent to, administering your own estate as perhaps a trustee. How are they on par with each other, right? I'm just going to use administrator, administrator. But an administrator is appointed by a court, whereas an executor can be self-appointed, by a legally competent individual in a probate matter, or when someone is deceased. You can take it over. I can take it over from my mother because I'm legally competent, right? I don't have to be appointed by a court. Is the distinction between the two, okay? And a female version of an administrator is an administratrix, and a female version of an executor is an executrix, okay? All right, so how might these be on par with each other? So basically, diplomat would deal in the public, whereas I'll just say the executor would be more private, without the need of the court's involvement, dealing in matters of probate or executing someone's estate. Hopefully that makes sense. I can't say that for an administrator, because an administrator is actually appointed by the court. You literally would go through the register and probate and be appointed the administrator, okay, through court. This one here, if my mom, transitioned or whatever, I would know exactly what to do with her estate. I would become the executor of her estate and privately settle the matters, meaning any bill that she has out there that is unsettled, I would have to set up an estate account, as it were, getting an EIN number from the IRS.gov and prove through an unalivement certificate, if you know what I mean, that she has actually transitioned, to bring legitimacy to my claim to be the executor. And then I would set up a bank account. I would have to take that unalivement certificate to the bank. They would see that she has in fact transitioned. I established myself as the executor under the name of her estate. And that would stay open until I settle and pay off all of her debts out of her estate, and after which I can close that estate and it would be final. Okay, that's kind of the pecking order of how it goes for educational purposes only, not for legal advice. Nothing here is for legal advice. We're just having a great conversation on TikTok and KnowledgeWell Media YouTube. All right, with that being said, so again, now, public, private as the executor, right? All right, so you're executing the estate. Now, I know that people are saying, well, I'm executing the estate of the unalived legal person and what have you. Been there, done that, went to the register and probate, tried to make that argument. I lost, because again, in the eyes of the law, they do not make the distinction between the human and the artificial person, the legal personality. You cannot separate the two. For if you were to remove the mask, it would be no different from you participating or acting in a play. And in the midst of the play, in the heat of the moment, when you have the audience convinced that that what they're watching is real, when you have them convinced, the main actor suddenly rips off his or her costume and reveals his human face underneath. What would that do? Imagine that. These people paid $150 for a doggone ticket to come and see this play, and you have every one of the audience hooked. They're on the edge of their seats waiting for the twist in the story, and your self rips off your costume, starts taking off your costume clothes that identifies you under a particular character as the main character, no less. What do you think is going to happen in the audience? You think they're going to be happy?
Well, that's a very good question, though, because what could happen in the audience? I guess the better question is what happens in the audience. Is it going to still disturb the game by revealing your mask? Because I think at the end of the day, the game is to conserve the game, like in whatever fictitious matter. So if someone revealed their mask in the middle of the game and it conserve the game and also upgrade it, like there's no fault in revealing the mask. The only fault is to those who believe the game will get affected by those who are removing the mask, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, the costume and the mask is to identify the character and his position and status. right? If I'm in a play and I'm acting as the role of the, let's say, Sherlock Holmes or a police officer, I need to wear that. What is the audience going to know that I am the police officer unless I'm wearing the police officer garb, costume, mask? They're not.
This is where the game gets tricky. Like, well, I know we don't have to go more into it. I get the point you're making, but at the end of the day, they're gonna use the real mask or the real original vitals, the temperature, the blood flowing, the oxygen, the burp, the respiration, and they'll be like, oh look, this one match the same guy who was wearing the other mask of the police officer. So it must be him now getting ready to enter a different mask. Maybe now he's in his civilian presence, you know what I mean? And then he's going to go into his different hat, he's going to wear the plumber. Now he also is a plumber. But I get where you're coming at, but I guess to answer your question, what would happen is that they would still recognize the being, but now they will recognize it without a status. That means in the police suit, it has authority in a way, their mind get like, oh, it's like seeing the same cop. You see him in the uniform, you're like, oh shit, okay, is this guy gonna mess with me? Because by the community, he has a sort of authority to kind of like protect and serve, but protect and serve could sometimes be misinterpreted for harassment, in a way. But anyway, we're not going all that realm. But now if you see that same cop with no clothes on, you just don't see that status no more, but it's technically the same being. So even in the play, I'm sure people with logic and reasoning will still recognize that. But I'm not trying to distract too much. I was just trying to a little rebuttal in there. But, let's go. Great knowledge, great dialogue. Let's go.
Yeah, in response to that, please, if there's people trying to come up, please invite them up. In response to that, remember, all of these considerations are in law. So how does the law see you? Because the significance of establishing the government and having the subsequent three branches of a particular government is in settling disputes and controversies. Okay? So ultimately, you can make all kinds of claims if you want to, but when somebody comes against your claim of ownership or legal interest, you're going to end up in court to settle the matter. And when you end up in court, your status and standing is going to determine as to whether you have a legally protectable interest or the right to that property. And so it's not necessarily about the audience or your peer group holistically, the whole nation, state, or community. It's about when it comes to the point of making a claim or your legal right or political rights, okay, or your capacities. That's what it's about. Are you legally able to work in the United States? Well, you better be able to have those documents and have that legal costume to provide the evidence, the birth certificate being one of them, the Social Security card being another, right? Every time you get a job, they require that you provide evidences through one or two or three documents. Those are your legal personas. Those are your legal masks, okay, that are used as evidence. Okay, so that's why it's important not to take the mask off, expatriate or, basically give up, stop participating in your role or in that character. Because if you do that, you will have no evidences of your ability and capacity to participate in commerce and trade. If you do not have the mark, you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade, is how the scripture put it in Revelations 13 and 17, or 16 and 17, whatever. Okay? So that's the significance. In organized society and in civilization, that's the difference, I'll say. If you want to live in a remote area of the jungle, off the grid, that is your prerogative. I don't think anybody's going to stop you from doing that, including the government. You can go and choose to do that. This is only a consideration of those who want to participate in what is known as organized society. You don't have to. Nobody's forcing you to. It's just that through your proximity and close relation and minimum context with the state, whether it's driving, whether it's taking government subsidies such as social welfare programs, whether it's paternity acknowledgement, using the courts to establish your rights as a father that is not living in the home. These are all government subsidies in a way, or offerings or services that we, the people, instituted because we said we need somebody outside of ourselves to manage these things because we're too busy with life to do it for ourselves. That's where the police administration comes in, right? It was every man in the community at one point in time would stand and defend a woman that is being abused in the public or elsewhere, right? There was one point in time where we did that. But then it was, well, I need to be at work. I can't be standing guard for everybody else's wife or girlfriend. So I need to go to work. So we need to establish some kind of an agency that can come and help when someone calls. So that's the consideration, y'all. That's what we establish governments to do. Now, keep it in balance, because we shouldn't give all of our power away. We should know how to administer and manage our affairs to a certain extent and a certain threshold. Because if you give away all of your power and authority, all right, which the Union did not do, Articles of Confederation, 1777, the states did not give all of their sovereignty away. They only gave the plenary powers over commerce and trade away. That's an important consideration. So likewise, humanity or citizens, the problem is we're giving too many of our rights away. And when you do that, government takes those rights. Government is a non-sentient being today, at least. All right. We may be a little too late because the AI is now on the scene. But as far as I know right now, it is not a sentient being. And therefore, it still needs representatives, humans that are acting in particular capacities to do its bidding or to work on its behalf. Okay. And so we are not wanting to pledge all of our rights away to government. We need to stand as humans, as citizens, and take care of those things that we can take care of and stop laying or being lazy or complacent upon the government to do everything for us. That's where we lose the most of our rights. The more you cry out to government for help, the more the government's going to help. But when the government comes to your state or your area, usually it won't leave. Usually it's going to stick around. So just consider that. Any questions? Okay, so the topic today is the disclosure, the real truth. The real truth is that there is a difference between the artificial and there's a difference between the natural. Okay, and you have to know the difference. It is your responsibility to not only know it, but to teach your next of kin this truth. Okay, because if not, the only thing that they will know, especially with the advent of this thing called AI, is that the state is the power, the government is the power. Who are we? Let's not work too hard because it's not good for our health to work, to plant seed, to plant our own agriculture, to harvest our own crops, to harvest our own meats, whatever is particular to your family. What we don't want our next generation to believe that it's all about laying on the government. It's not supposed to be that way. And that's not anti-government rhetoric. That's just the way it is. Americans are hardworking people. We build, we invent, we're industrious, and what have you. That's not the government's realm. That's supposed to be our realm, unless you want to lose those rights. That's up to us, each individually. So you're not artificial, you are human. However, from the standpoint of citizenship, the states only exist because you give them your full faith and credit. Okay, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Go ahead, panel.
When you explain the separation of these different status, what I'm getting out of it is different jurisdictions. So I guess back to the private citizen status versus like the corporate status, but they are under the same, and I guess the diplomatic status, but I know that's in a different jurisdiction. So I'm gonna stay with on the base for now. So The citizen status and the corporate status, are they both under the same jurisdiction?
Yeah, the citizen is a member of the political community. Okay, and that corporate consideration that you're alluding to is the body politic. What's a body? Why is it called a body? It's called a body because the many are acting as one under one name. The many, the people of a particular state, right, are all acting collectively. We did that demonstration of the pie chart or whatever in consideration of percentages. All right, so the people, we the people, I'm writing from the other side, so it's not as clean. We the people is the whole, okay? And so the law, positive law, man-made law, is looking upon the we the people, which also equals the state, a political community. It's a what type of community? It's a community of citizens all acting as one. That is the state. And the law is only looking to those people as the state. It does not see each one of the people. It only sees a whole. That's why when you may face some type of litigation or lawsuit, right, and the representative of the state comes in on the, and lays a claim against you, whether criminal or civil, usually criminal, it'll say the people of the state of, because he or she is acting in proxy on behalf of that state. But the actual claimant is the whole people against the one citizen. Oh man, we're going down a whole nother path, y'all. Do we want to do this? I mean, if it helps you, I'll go. But if you all want to get back to more of the mask and the legal person,
do it. Go right into it. Let's do it.
All right. So that's why you see that on your complaints. The people of the state of against you. All right. Because again, the law, which is man-made law, aka positive law, is looking at the whole. On the normal, it is. Okay. We the people. I'm just gonna put we. All right. That's normal. But when one of these citizens goes rogue, I'll just put one of the citizens, one of the members of the whole, right, the political community, when one goes rogue, you stepped away from the people. You broke the laws of the state, aka statutes that regulate, that sanction, that recognize each of the citizens or the whole body, right? You chose. You said, the state law says you go 65 miles per hour on our highways, on our thoroughfares, and on our bridges. You stepped away and said, heck, I will. I'll do what I want to do. I'm free to do it. I have God-given rights to drive as fast as I want, and no cop is going to tell me, no state statute is going to regulate me. That's what you do, right? So what is that in effect? It's you sticking out like a sore thumb, as the saying goes, and saying, I'll do whatever I want to do. And so guess what? That's fine. That's fine. You can do whatever you want to do, right? But what's going to happen with the law now? The law now usually focuses on the whole, the members as a whole, as an incorporated body, as a political community. But since you stepped out of that whole and made yourself stand out, the law now takes its view and looks directly at you. That rhymed. Dang, I'm doing good today. Okay? The law doesn't look here. The law now says, we the people are going to come after the one that went rogue. That's why it's on your complaint, the people of the state of X versus the one that went rogue. That's how that works, y'all. You picking up what I'm putting down? Does that make sense?
Facts. Yeah, that makes all the sense. Yeah.
Okay, so this is again the importance of working with the community. You don't want to be you don't want the community to look at you. And this is why a jury of your peers comes out of here. A jury of 12, right? The jury. 12 are selected by the state under the law. 12 are taken out of here against the one. Your own peers selected from your demographic, whatever you choose them to be, right? Women, men, you get to choose that as the defendant or whatever, you and your attorney. But 12 are going to come out of the hole, and it's you. Okay? That's the way that it works, if you needed that understanding. The point is to be a productive citizen, a community-minded member, all of those things you hear, right? That's the point. Stay collective. There's strength in numbers, they say, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I know that goes against most of the attendance beliefs, whatever, here today, right? Because you're looking for remedy, you're looking to separate yourself, okay? Because whatever your purpose, you might have got pulled over, you're tired of getting mollywopped, you're tired of IRS's taxes and all that. I get it. I was there. But what I found is, as the saying sayings go, you catch more bees with honey, okay? And it's tough when you're swimming upstream, all right? Mainstream, all right? You want to go with the flow. Electricity in nature, demonstrates for us to find the path of least resistance. Why is life feeling so hard? Why is it always I take one step forward and 2 steps back? That's the feeling, right? That's the sentiment of most 97% of Americans. And the reason is because if you didn't figure out the game, then you're going against the stream. If you didn't figure out the fundamentals of the economic system and how it really works and knowing how to use and layer these artificial persons, these trusts and all that kind of stuff, then your life's going to feel real hard. Whereas the presidents, Donald Trump, they spend a lot of their time on the golf course and they're still billionaires. How does that make sense? You worked more hours in a week per se, laborious hours in a week than they do. But how come you don't get your golf course? It's because you're working too hard is the answer to that question. And so the topic today is the disclosure of the real truth. So that's what we want to do. All right. So what time is it? How long have we been on here?
Almost 1.
It's almost 1. All right. So what I want to do, let me just say it like this. All right. Because I don't plan on being here long. I did have something I had to do, but we'll see what happens later on in the day or whatever. I don't know. But I do have to be up for work at 3 a.m. And so I want to enjoy a little bit of time, but I do want to provide, this education as I promised. I did want to go live. And so let's just say it like this. How many of you are interested in actually actively applying the remedy that we provide here, as in trusts, as in corporations, as in owning land? How many of you, because I think I put something together you might like. How many of y'all are interested in that?
I am. I'm interested.
Okay. Let's talk shop. Since you came here, since you entrusted your education, you could be watching football, which I plan to do a little bit of, right? Just because I spent a long time fighting the system, right? So now that I've figured this out and now I'm starting to apply this stuff, life is a little bit more chill. And so I kind of dig the city patriotism. You know what I mean? Not you get what I'm saying. It feels different now. It feels different. And so I want to help y'all that same way. All right. And there is a way to do it. So let's talk shop for a minute. Okay. We already know we want to be in trusts. Now, some people, including attorneys, are going to tell you, if you don't own $1 million, then what's the purpose of having a trust? No. Who said that your trust has to be complex and complicated with $1 million estate over here, a $500,000 thing over here? But no, it's the principle that matters. And what are the principles? Own nothing, control everything. You telling me I can't use that principle even if I'm working at McDonald's? You telling me I can't use that? Because what's the concept behind that? What's the remedy behind owning nothing and controlling everything? It's in that where ownership is, liability is. If the IRS comes into McDonald's, I use this analogy, if the IRS comes into McDonald's and says, McDonald's as a corporation, you are tax delinquent and you owe $1.5 million. If they come in there and I am with my McDonald hat, visor, and my shirt, and I'm standing at the cash register, just doing my job, and the IRS comes in and says, McDonald's, you owe $1.5 million in delinquent taxes, and they come up to my register, what do you think I'm going to say? Yeah, my boss is in the back. Like, you need to talk to my boss. That's above my pay grade and out of my wheelhouse. I have nothing to do with that, right? That's what I'm going to say. And you think I'm going to feel stressed about it? Ooh, McDonald's owes $1.5 million and I work here. Oh my God, I can't afford to pay that. Am I going to do that? No. Own nothing, control everything. I have control of this cash register. I have control of dealing with the customer, making them smile. We love to see you smile, right? I have that control. But when it comes to the responsibilities and the liabilities, that's not my wheelhouse, baby. Go talk to the boss. You see what I'm saying? So tell me that trust don't apply if you ain't making $1 million. Yes, it does, because we teach the concept of what trust empowers you to do or not do. I don't want the liability, so therefore I want to limit the liability. And that's what one aspect of trust. Okay, so we're definitely going to be teaching trust. We want to establish a trust that does not cost you $10,000 and does not slap a book. Excuse me, I forgot TikTok's down here and YouTube's up there. Does not stack a book of papers on you and in a yellow manila envelope delivered to you in the mail, and then you get that packet and you're like, what do I do now? That's not what it is, okay? So you must be educated. I know some of y'all are so tired of having gone through all of what you've gone through, the stuff I went through too, that you're like, dude, just tell me what it is, or blah, blah, blah. But it does not work like that. Anybody would do you a disservice if they don't educate you on the tools. I won't say the W word, but if they don't educate you on what it is that you have in your possession or how to properly maneuver. So education is the key, is my point, not just giving you tools. So you have to respect that, especially from here, because you know what our teaching style is. It's very thorough. But you need to know what you're doing, right? I don't want to just give you a pew-pew. I want to teach you how to use it, put you through safety courses so that you don't hurt yourself or others. Are you understand? You picking up what I'm putting down? So please don't become impatient. You have time. The point is, you have time. The point is to be moving in a positive direction. All right, TikTok. So trust is going to be a discussion, and we will adequately and in a simplistic format, okay, in a simplistic format that is workable, okay? I always target a fifth grade level education. That's how I teach, okay? Hopefully you agree, but that's what I shoot for. I don't want to put you in, as a sophomore in college when you haven't even graduated 9th grade. You get what I'm saying? All right. So we're definitely talking trust. That is easy, y'all. We have come up with a way to teach that in an easy format, basic format, that you'll have it, you'll be able to work it right away. And it ain't no foreign stuff, okay? Because if you mess around with foreign things, you're not going to be able to use them for the most part in the U.S. because they're U.S. industries, U.S. banks, You go foreign on them. I've done it, and try to open up a bank account. We can't do business with that. Okay, I've been there. I ain't telling you something I haven't done. So we've come up with a simplistic way to teach trust. Obviously, corporations, LLCs specifically, that's going to be in there as well. Okay, very, very simplistic. But this is what the wealthy elite play with. Okay, obviously, I told you 97% of the United States citizens do not have a corporation, an LLC, or what have you. Okay, so there's a problem, isn't it? That's why the pyramid is separated, right? The 3% versus the 97% who don't have it, don't know how to use it, don't know what it's about. Okay. And the other aspect of it is, of course, the laws in making a distinction between natural law and positive law. Okay. I mean, this is the three-legged table, y'all. I mean, like that's what it's all about. That's what everything stands upon. That's basic and fundamental. We just have a teaching style that can bring it to fruition. So I am okay. Now, under these things, okay, you're going to have what I would call your investments that we'll be teaching on. Okay, obviously the big one is real estate. Okay, you must have it in one form or another, y'all. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. You better be putting money away. I don't care if it's $10 a paycheck. Put it away. You might not be able to buy a house, but you can doggone sure put money into kind of like a share type situation where you can bring, even if it's 100 people together that are doing the same thing. You can create a pool of people privately contracting. This is not legal advice. I'm just educating. Do a Donald Trump. I'm just educating. Anyways, but you can pool your resources. This is why the powers that were would like to keep you divided, would like to keep you looking at race and gender and sexuality and all of these distractions. What does it profit you? Nothing. Politics. All the big wigs up there playing, and you want to go and play in their game when you ain't even established a foundation for your own family. Your legacy is what matters. You are making everybody else up on the top 3% significant. You're making Jay-Z, Beyonce, Diddy, and all this distraction. You're making them wealthy because you're giving them your energy. They're siphoning your energy. Every time I have a plan. In 3 months, I want to do this. I want to go on vacations with my family. I want to get healthy. I want to get in the gym. And guess what? As soon as the society as a collective starts on that mission, you spend one day in the gym, 2 or maybe 1 week, you got something going. And all of a sudden, Diddy and baby oil. All of a sudden, it's election season. All of a sudden, we're going to war. It's always something. And what happens to you? You start to vibrate on a low frequency. It starts to affect you. You start to feel stresses. You feel like there's no hope. What's the point of doing any of this? That's how you start to think. I don't know where we at, y'all, but we on a whole different vein now. But I guess this is the disclosure, okay? The real truth. Keeping it real with you, the raw, uncut. That's how we do here, KnowledgeWell Media. All right, but real estate is definitely going to be one. And if you feel it's a daunting task, my credit is shot, it doesn't matter. That's their game. You have a society and access like never before through TikTok and YouTube to a society of like-minded individuals who legitimately can care for you and your family as well as you care legitimately for theirs. And so since we have access to this, why aren't we using this collectively the proper way? Why are we perpetuating the news cycle of Diddy and baby oil? Okay, I get it. It's entertainment. It feels great. But entertainment is not necessarily a good thing, y'all, if you really get down to the brass tacks of what that term suggests, right? Anytime you contain your mind and let somebody else contain your mind, your mental, that's not a good thing. I enjoy a great movie. I may go for a different purpose than what you go for, but nonetheless, I enjoy it. Okay, so I enjoy it. But the point is, if we ain't got our basis established, the fundamental basis of what this really, what is really important, our legacy, then all else is lost. And so let's stop being entertained by the news cycle, the ditty, telling them to kick rocks. I get it. It's funny. It's what it is. If he did something wrong, he'll be judged for it and whatever. Let the justice system do what they do. What does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you? Down here on the lower 97%, of the bottom part of the totem pole, as it were. What does that have to do with you? All right, so real estate is the discussion. Again, if you feel like you cannot do it on your own, you're not supposed to. They're teaching you to be divided because they want to remain the elite. How do they remain the elite? By you perpetuating ignorance. The people are destroyed for what they do not know. So they will remain on top all the time. It's not that they're trying to keep you, that they don't want you up there. It's that you're not doing what it takes to ascend anyways. And they can profit or capitalize on your ignorance. You're doing it. Stop being distracted. So real estate. Gold and silver. Oh, that's way too expensive. And what's the purpose of that? And blase. Well, if you don't know, you really don't know. Because fiat currencies go to zero. Gold and silver don't. Is that simple enough? You see what's happening to the US dollar? It's a wealthy man's game. They can push buttons, it goes up. They can push buttons, it goes down. So your choice. Gold and silver has inherent value, basically. I mean, what are you going to say about it? It's in everything electronic. Are electronics going away anytime soon? Okay, I'm just saying. Gold and silver. Silver specifically, because it's a very affordable metal. And it is the true price discovery is not being revealed. All right, it's supposed to be 10-1 to gold. Well, if you did the math today, and what is 10-1? If gold is, let's say, if it's 3,000 per ounce, right? Let's just say gold, if it's 3,000 per ounce, 10-1 would mean that silver is worth $300 an ounce. You know how much you can get an ounce of silver for right now? $30. It's only really 10% of its actual value. That means it's on sale. So go get some. Not for legal advice. Get as much as you can. All right. Don't break the bank. That's not a wise investment. You don't spend all of your money on it, put all your eggs in one basket. You get what I'm saying? No. Figure out your percentage that discretionary funds that you can put into silver. Do not just blow a whole check when you know you got bills to pay, because you have to live in the here and now as well. Don't be foolish. Be wise. Wise as serpents, but as harmless as doves. All right, so real estate, gold and silver, land I'll put under real estate. Okay. Contracting, we can enter into contracts together in between our corporations that we establish. Okay, therefore you keep the circulation of money within our society. Okay, check what the elites do. They're all doing business together. BlackRock and this business and this, it's an incestual relationship. Okay, you have to do the same thing. If you can't work together, that's the problem. So what's left? Complete dependence upon the government. That's where it comes in. All right, let me look at where my hearts are at, because we should be at 100K. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. Are y'all serious right now? Are y'all serious right now? I'm gonna open it up to the panel. I'm gonna stop talking because y'all gonna put some spec on my name now. Come on. 40K? Really? 40K, y'all. That's all I get. Free information. We're laying out the true disclosure, the real truth about it all. 40K. By now, we should be at 100K. That's our goal. And we're not going to be on much longer. I'm missing my football game. I do want to watch the Packers stomp out the Jacksonville Jaguars. It started at 12. I'm doing this for y'all. That's my relaxation. So you just panel, go ahead. Go ahead, panel. Question. Did I answer? I want to institute this. My point was, I want to institute this for anybody that is willing to come along. We will put it all together for you. We'll stop talking about it and we'll be about it, and we'll do it correctly, asserting what's known as a legally protectable interest. Anything that we teach here, educational wise, we will make sure that the law backs it up. Not what your local guru said, but what the actual law says.
Is that the law or is it bylaws of the trust or company?
Well,
you hear my question?
The legal, what I'm talking about is, first of all, anything that we do must be backed up in accordance with statutory law. That's a legally protectable interest. If you are interested, because I plan to, I will leave the feed going so that the panel can, discuss these things, right? Under the leadership and moderation of Unknown Zero. I will leave it going. As long as y'all be respectful and responsible, don't be cutting each other off. Y'all know the rules. We don't do that here. If y'all want to debate, that's one thing, but we don't argue. I'll leave the feed on TikTok going for further discussion with y'all. But if you are interested in joining, we will let today be the official announcement of our collaborative. Okay. I'll take y'all where y'all need to go. Educational purposes only. You are going to put in work. I'm not doing where I give you things. Nah, it's not happening. Okay. Because by now, literally, I know TikTok, you're relatively new, but the rest of y'all that have been with me for a while, y'all know how we do over here. And I have put the information in our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube in the archives. Y'all should have no excuse. If you've been around here for any amount of time, really, if you ain't got your stuff set up by now, there's something to it. Because you guys have free, unfettered access to my archives, KnowledgeWell Media. As the scripture says, see, here is water. What doth hinder thou? You know what I'm saying? It's on y'all. I'm not raising, what do they call it? I'm not raising handicapped children. Okay. I'm not, because I don't have to, because I provide great information, great fundamentals, basics, and what have you. And I've come from a long way. I've learned the hard knocks and the hard way. So I'm not, okay. I think you get it. So reach out to me that's not dark. If you are interested, you want to join the collaborative, no nonsense. No nonsense. If you are here to poison people, if you're just here to steal information to take it back to your platform or whatever, we're going to find you. We'll figure it out. You might get a little bit, but that's okay, because you're in it for the wrong reason. We'll let karma deal with you anyways. So if you are interested in the collaborative, we will begin. You will get a full and KnowledgeWell 4, which is the number 4, you at gmail.com. Okay, KnowledgeWell for you at gmail.com. Reach out to me, express your interest in joining the collaborative. The name of the collaborative will be the Elite Com. Okay, in fact, just put that into your email. Com stands for community. We will be known as the Elite Com. Okay, Elite Com. Elite community, because that is what it's all about. Okay, you want to make the top 3%, this is how you do it. We're going to show you how to do it. Enough is enough. I told you this is the disclosure, the real truth, and so that's what I'm going to deliver. And so from this point on, it's up to you. I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to prod. I'm not going to, you need to get involved in this. I'm not doing that. If you want the truth, you want to get down or get up or come up, KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. put EliteCom in the email. That's all I need. Then we'll know that to add you to the list. Okay. This wasn't supposed to be a promotional, but we can do this every week, every Sunday. We can keep doing this, and you're just going to have the same, or not the same questions, but you have questions, and you'll walk away from here because you just sat through 2 hours of information. And I often say that too much information can be like too much light. It becomes blinding. If you are in darkness and somebody, intending to help you takes a floodlight and turns it on you, saying, here you go, here's the way, that's not going to help you very much, is it? So that thing that was intended to be good will ultimately turn out to be bad. So I don't want to just flood you with too much information that becomes useless to you, is the point. And so this is nice. I appreciate all the likes and all that. We shoot for 100K hearts and all that kind of stuff, but I legitimately want to help you. Okay. I legitimately want to help you. My greatest achievement, this is my legacy. This is what I can pass on to my children, is to say how many people I was able to help. Look how many millionaires were made, thousandaires, that goes to my children. I get to tell them, Daddy helped. They're going to remember their dad is helping the world. And that's my little slice. That's what I get to do. That's what I choose to use the internet for, not having a hot boy summer and, twerking and talking stupid. I don't choose to use it for that. I choose to use it to help people. I've come a long way. And so with that being said, if you're interested in that, here you go. Panel, I'm going to open it up to you. I'll be walking around. I'll blank out my camera because you're not supposed to drive while using the platform and all that kind of stuff. I've learned that lesson too. But I'll open up the panel for y'all discussion. Again, if you want to join the EliteCom, there will be no other place like it. You will not accomplish what you will be able to accomplish through this by just simply listening to your local guru. It's not going to happen. You should know that by now because you've been doing it for a long time, right? Going from school, going from platform to platform, and trying to put together the pieces. No, we got the pieces. We got the whole right here. Hit us up right there. All right. With that being said, I'll take a couple minutes of questions if you have them. Shoot them off though. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over to your moderator.
So the elite, this is like a class. Is it going to be like showing all kind of the particular laws that apply to whatever topic of discussion for that day, or this is a class, right?
Correct. It's hands-on, if you will. It'll be hands-on. So not only, I don't want you just sitting in class and not applying. I want you to be educated about what you are applying and actively applying it so that you start to build your, what we call family wealth structure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you're going to be explaining like people that deal with filing UCC ones and establishing trust that way, or you're going to be dealing with that as well?
Yeah, anything involving those articles those elements I put up here. So trust, corporations, and what have you. So for educational purposes. So you'll be going through our sister subsidiary is known as KnowledgeWell University. So we have KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. That's where you're at right now, or you're on TikTok, but you can visit over to KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. But we have our subsidiary, which is KnowledgeWell University. That's where you're going to be getting that education. And then you're going to, so we don't do legal advice, right? We can't, obviously.
Okay.
Right. We can't provide you legal advice, but we can do education. So in the name of education, you will be applying the things that you learn, okay, from KnowledgeWell University. And the things that we're teaching are how to build your family wealth structure and how to apply the things that you are learning. Okay, so it will require your hand, it will require your eyes, your mouth, your feet. Okay, you're going to have to do things, but we're going to provide the education, those breadcrumbs that you need.
All right.
In short, he's going to give you the tools that you need to establish it.
I'll educate you on the tools. I cannot provide you what an attorney could provide you, legal advice. I can do sample templates of stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So it's the family wealth structure. So this is what the elite use. What we have simply discovered is what Donald Trump does. Why doesn't he have to disclose his taxes? How come he pays less taxes than you do, right? And not only that, but how he owns or does not own, but controls. So that, because of the legal personalities give him separation in law, and they take on the liability and defer the liability from himself. Okay, so
I understand that.
I have a question. So I have actually two questions, and thanks for taking the time doing this presentation. And I know you want to go watch the game. The first one is based on the definition of a constructive trust, correct? It says a trust that does not arise by agreement or from intention, but by operation of law. And I think that's the same trust that the states are operating under. So based on that definition, why do someone still with a legal title in their hand, right? Because this is technically saying in a way, if I'm not missing it, and I think I got more information on other quotes or case laws, but it's technically saying that people gotta just follow these laws because they were enacted. So that means it is already bypassed going to court. So like by having the legal title of a trust, you're technically already the trustee. There's no, you need to go to court for that. You get what I'm saying? So it's almost like it's only being applied when it's in their advantage. But when it's in the advantage of someone who's claiming status, given the fact they don't want to do the corporate and all this stuff you're talking about, it's kind of like they're using the law when it's just in favor for, I guess, them having authority or that officer in the moment having authority. Because based on the rule of a constructive trust, it's already done by operation of law. That means it's already done. Like they just have authority over you based on the, like you say, the citizen agreeing to, or the people agreeing to the state, or the people making the state and the state making the laws. And the other question, which I think you can give both answers.
Let me jump in real quick, because you're not really asking a question, you're more making a statement. What is your question?
The question was back to the legal title. It's like, why, if we have the legal title, we're not automatically trustee? Like when we have we go get our birth certificate, the upper part is the one they give, which is the legal title of it.
So let me interject before we get. Okay, so you don't have. Okay, we talked about.
What I'm saying though, I'm saying by enactment of law, they're saying this is the authority they have, and also by enactment of law, it's also saying when someone holds a legal title of a trust, they're the trustee. So how come they're enforcing a law, but they're not enforcing it was against their authority? Because that law applies for both.
I got your question. I'm trying to answer it. So just because you have possession of the legal title, aka the birth certificate, you got to remember that your capacity is not as trustee, because you're not a government official. So you're not holding a office of public trust. You are a citizen that has received a birth certificate. It's been transferred to you, which establishes what is called custodianship. You are in custody of the state's child. The child that is in question is the legal name. That is the construct of the state. The state is the father, the parents patria. So what did it transfer to you? What did the father bestow upon you? The birth certificate.
Gotcha. So you're saying technically the birth certificate is not, it's just almost like a certificate that's the trustee kind of give you. So it's not really a legal title. It's just
No,
something.
It is a legal title. It's a legal title, but that legal.
It's not a legal title in form of a trustee legal title.
There's only a legal title. Period. It's on all property has two titles to it. Legal title.
It's not a legal title in the form of making a claim for it.
No, you can't make a claim to something that does not belong to you. You're acting in a legal capacity as a custodian, which is kind of a managerial maintenance type of situation. You know, a custodian, like in your school, when you went to high school.
Yeah, I get your point. I'm just saying at the end of the day, if they're going by the law, you know, just makes it clear. Like, let's forget there's a public officer, there's all of that. The law makes it clear. Whoever owns the legal title is the trustee. It's transparent. There's no ifs and buts about it.
Yeah, but I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying, because I'm answering everything. The legal title is a legal title, period. There's not this type of legal title and this legal title. A legal title establishes the manager and the administrator of trust res or property assets. That's all. That's what it means. It's legal ownership. I'm in control of it. That's legal title. The other title is the equitable beneficial title, which establishes beneficial interest in the property. It doesn't establish ownership of the property. The legal title gives ownership to the property, okay, to manage it and to administer it.
But you just clarified that the birth certificate just gives people the custodian title. It doesn't make them trustee. It makes them custodian still.
No, not the title doesn't do that. The fact that the title was transferred to you as custodial property makes you a custodian. The legal title belongs to the trustee. The way that you got it as a custodian is because the public trustees gave it to you. So there was a transfer. Okay, so I gave you the hierarchy, the state government. From there, it goes down to the public offices of trust or public trustees, abbreviating TTES, EES, trustees. From there, it goes down to the custodians. That's you, or that was your mom, and then your mom subsequently transferred it to you as a custodian.
But you're saying the ownership doesn't change. It's just now they're giving someone else access to the paperwork.
Well, it's a little bit more significant than just giving somebody access to paperwork. They now have a controlling factor over the property.
Right, and that's the point I'm getting to. So if they have a controlling factor over the property, why do they still need a public officer trustee? You know, I'm just showing like how
the public office of trustee is the control over the property. They have the legal title is just like your birth is the birth certificate is the evidence that you have that capacity as trustee. That's what the legal title does. It's evidence. If brought under question, I need to be able to defend myself in my position and my legal interest. You know, how should I put it? If a landscaper is mowing grass and a nosy neighbor calls the police and says, "There's somebody on my neighbor's property and they're not supposed to be there." Well, the police may come there. And let's say the worst case scenario, there's a misunderstanding. The police arrests the landscaper, takes him to jail, and now he's standing before the court. Okay? And now the judge is going to say, what is your defense to the landscaper? The landscaper is going to say, I have this certificate, this contract, in other words. It is a certificate of legal title. I was hired by the owner of the land to manage it and to administer, the landscaping services. That is my defense. I have a legal interest, or what I told you before, a legally protectable interest to have been there, and she called the police on me for no reason. In fact, I'm going to sue her in a civil lawsuit for false claim or whatever, or you know, whatever. So that's the way the birth certificate works. That's why you possess the document, so that if brought under question, if they ask you, do you have citizenship here? Yes, I do. Here's the evidence of my citizenship. Okay, well, you might have citizenship, but do you have the legal ability to contract, to open a bank account, to enroll in school? Do you have that? Yes, I do. Prove it. Here it is, Your Honor, a birth certificate with the legal name printed on it, which establishes that I can sign contracts, deeds, or other legal documents. Okay, so that's what it is. Now, I have the power, since I am the trustee holding that evidence. If it comes to an issue of accounting, and I never went to school for accounting, I don't know how to budget properly, but I'm still the trustee, but that's not my strong point. So as the trustee with this legal title, I'm also able to hire a custodian who happens to be a CPA, who understands accounting and budgeting and analysis and how to read metrics and all that kind of stuff, right? So I hire a custodian. I'm still the trustee with the legal title. But what I can do is, with my powers as the trustee or the one holding the legal title, I can hire custodians over accounting, finances, over electrical work that needs to be done, plumbing. They're under me as the one holding the legal title, but they receive powers too underneath me. I empower them. That's the power of the trustee, to administer the estate and the goings-on of the estate. Does that translate?
I hear what you're saying. I guess the confusion is here, like everything you're saying they could do, they could with the birth certificate, they could do it without it, just with the social security number. So why
no, you can't.
Oh, go ahead and explain me how you can. I guess. Like, what can you not do with the social security number you couldn't do without the birth certificate?
The social security number is not identification, nor does it prove U.S. citizenship. It is one thing, one leg of the table that can help to show that you are a legitimate United States citizen. But according to the law, the evidentiary document that proves your birth citizenship is the birth certificate. The legal title, I am here legally. I am entitled, listen to the term, I am entitled through legal title to be here. That's what the birth certificate does.
I get your point. So you're saying the birth certificate is just, I guess, at the start of the game, so you can make an ID if you want to be able to ID yourself. You can make a passport. You could make a bank account. You could have access to all of that. I guess that's as far as I will see the power of the birth certificate based on what you're saying. Because if it doesn't give you a trustee power, it just gives you power to make accounts.
No, you're gonna have to go back, man, in the archives, man. Because
I get where you're coming at, but I don't think you're making the separation I'm kind of making. What I'm trying to say at the end of the day, like, I form as a trust, that it's supposed to be a legal title. As far as a legal title, it's supposed to give you
the trust is not the trust is not a legal title.
No, not just a legal title. I'm saying when you hold the titles of a trust, you got the legal, you got the equity title, correct? So what I'm trying to say, as far as whoever holds the legal title, they can manage a trust. That's the way of a trust operates. But you're telling me here, based on the way the information is being translated, even though someone has the legal title of this trust, it's only to make accounts, but it's not to manage a trust.
I never said that.
Well, that's how it's translating to me. It's like they have the birth certificate to only make accounts. They can make birth certificate. Now they can make a corporate status, and in the corporate status, now they could become a executor, a trustee, or whatever title they want to give themselves in that in the corporation. But I'm saying, as far as the relationship and the citizen status, the birth certificate, even though it's a legal title, it will never give them the trustee power over the public trust. It will never make them a trustee.
It doesn't have to. The citizen has a position here as custodian. They don't need to be the trustees. They're not holding an office of public trust. An office of public trust is a politician or a state officer, a state official.
Yeah, but you said a custodian has lower power than a trustee. So even there'll be a custodian, they still need to have consent from a trustee, correct?
Yes.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So to me, it's not really a legal title. Because if you made a private trust, and you hold a legal title.
Are you familiar? I would recommend you look up what's called the law of principal and agent. Look that up, and that'll give you a greater clarification. The trustee empowers the custodian. Hear me out. The trustee empowers the custodian, therefore transferring a portion of the legal title power to the custodian.
Yeah, so and then that question and that discovery. So how much of the power is separated between a custodian and a trustee when it comes to a legal title, but specifically in the public?
Let me answer one question at a time because you tend to keep going and then it complicates the question. So
I was just trying to make it specific just to the public trust. That's all I was saying.
All right. So a public trustee, let's get an example of a public trustee. Let's say
a magistrate.
No, not a good one. Let's one that everybody can.
A clerk.
That one that everybody can recognize together. Let's say the DFI. Let's say the State Department. The
politician.
Let's say the Secretary of State. Okay, that is an office of public trust. The Secretary of State. Okay, of your particular State Department. The Secretary of State is here, right? Given the power from the state, the government. Okay. Now, it can't do everything in relation to the state. So now it's going to have a particular office or bureau. Okay. Like, what's a good one? Let's see. Let's just say, for example, the Vital Statistics Office. See, there's a difference between the department, an office, and a bureau. I hope you all know that. There's a difference. So you have the State Department, and then you have one of the offices underneath the State Department. In this case, we're using the state's Vital Statistic Office. Okay. You see the relationship? So they become the custodians, whereas the State Department is here. Does that make sense? And so you asked what power. So you might be able to answer that. Then the State Department, the Department of State or whatever, Secretary of State now delegates the powers over what area? If it's the State Vital Statistics Office, then they have the delegation of authority to run their office to register vital statistics. So that is the power that the trustee gives to that office, not over any other area except for vital statistics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the vital part is the lower part of the birth certificate. That's a different trust. I'm talking about just
that doesn't matter. You asked what powers can the trustee give or delegate to the custodian. So I gave you an example.
Okay, but let me be more clear because that's a good example you give me, and I know you're sharing the info. But to the way I got it was that the legal title, based on the way you explain it, and I'm translating it, the legal title is the upper part. And the legal title is the one like in a regular trust that gives people the power to manage the trust. But you're saying in the public trust, like let's say the Secretary of State is the trustee, and then the custodian is also is sharing the power with the trustee. But that means they will only have 50% of the power.
I never said that they're sharing the power. I said the public trustee is in the pecking order on the higher level. Okay. who can delegate a particular area of its powers to the office as custodians underneath it. It's not a 50-50. Okay, the Secretary of State does a whole plethora of different things on behalf of the state. Vital statistics is one area, okay, and they are able to delegate authority that for one of the offices to operate in that particular area, not any other. It's not 50-50.
So to bring clarity, you're talking about the Secretary of State being the trustee for the whole trust, for the upper and the bottom one. You're not talking about the Secretary.
You're adding so many layers every time you ask a question. I'm like, man,
you remember last time you said the upper part is a trust.
I know I did, but you need to stay on one vein. Like, let's get to the bottom of one vein before you add another layer. Now you're going into the equity side of the discussion of trust.
No, but you went to the equity.
Can I ask a question?
Vitals, because the vital parts are the equity part, correct? That's why I was saying the legal title.
Yeah, but why are you talking about the legal title if you want to talk about the equitable side? They're not one
I
and
don't
the
want to
same.
talk about the equitable because you were telling me the vital part is the one the trustee gives the custodian power over.
No.
Can I ask a question? I just wanted to know because I heard the word certificate of title before, and then a document of title. Do you know if there's a difference in those two?
No, there's no real. A document of title is a certificate of title. Yeah, they're not
same difference. Yeah. Okay.
All right. With that being said, I think most people in line with the comments that I'm reading get what I'm saying. I think that we can keep going down the rabbit hole and keep layering new parts of the same question over and over again. So for that intents and purposes, we'll continue this discussion. Please jot down your questions in relation to that, because I'm going to take off now. If y'all want to continue the discussion, please do. We did not even get close to our goal of 100K. We are at, it looks like I'm looking at a mirror here, 46.5, not even close. But I'll leave the discussion up to y'all. I will take another question before I get out of here if there's a burning question that you have. Otherwise, I appreciate you all for being here. I'm going to cut the KnowledgeWell Media YouTube feed. And don't forget about my proposition. If you're interested in joining us in the Elite Com, this is how you do it. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to beg you. All right. If you don't recall and remember it and put a level of priority on joining this because you know that it is of value to you, I'm not going to keep promoting it. I'm not going to do any of that. Okay. Because we are all either legally competent and ready to manage our own affairs and what have you, or we're not. Okay. We got real sauce here at KnowledgeWell Media. And I think that's evident. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to prod you. All right. We're all growing around here. Either you want it or you don't. That's how we're going to do it. Cut and dry. What I'm going to say is this, though. Don't think that, you write down the email and then you let a week go by. Okay. And then you say, I intended to get involved. I've done that. I'm not new, y'all. I'm not wet behind the ears. I've been here for a long time. So what I'm going to say is, after a certain point in time, I'm going to close the ark door, as in the story of Noah, on, let's say, our first pass. Because what I found and what my experience has taught me is we'll get going with my class and what have you and start applying the things. And then next thing I know, I'll have 20 other people that want to get in. But where do I start at again now? By letting new people in. And then it holds back the ones that have been coming week after week and that are progressing. So I'm not going to allow that to happen. So we're going to set a deadline on this, okay? The family wealth structure, incorporating trust corporations, investments, and all that kind of thing. We will own land and we will own real estate property. And everybody that is accepted will have a stake and a share in the ownership of property and land. Because some of us just don't have the means to do that ourselves by ourselves, which in my opinion, as in the story of the Tower of Babel, the people were mighty when they came together. So much so that this alleged God looked down and said, look, behold, the people are one, and there is nothing that shall be impossible to them now. So for that purpose, let us go down and disturb their language. Let us institute things like legalese and Latin, dead languages, to confound their communication so that they cannot build or be successful at ascending to heavenly places. And so what I'm telling you is, if you want to be distracted and allow them to confound your language and your communication and your ability to work together collectively, that's up to you. We're not going to play any games. All right. There will be production. All right. You will own land. You will own real estate. And this is a way that you can do it, whereas you may not have the capacity otherwise to do it. And that's going to be in working in a collective. All right. So don't bring any distraction over here, division, infiltration. If y'all that are incorporated into it see something, say something. Don't allow somebody to come in here and infiltrate. If you see something, you say something. Blast, put them on blast so that we all can point them out and get rid of them. Otherwise, they will tear down our structure. Okay? So I'm going to leave that up to you. Listen, I got mine. You better get yours, as the song goes. All right? So don't come in here with no mess, and don't allow nobody else to come here with no mess. If you're in, let's win. That's what I'm going to say. Family wealth structure. This is how you can put elite com in the email. And that way I will know that you are willing or wanting to be part of elite com. Okay? Boom. And then I'll do some qualifications or whatever. I'm not going to make it hard. I'm not going to make it arduous for you. But we do need to know who is serious and who are not serious, okay? So there will be some vetting, nothing too extravagant, right? But we do want to know who we're working with, all right? So, because I have to protect, if I'm leading the way on this, it's my duty as trustee, right, to protect the community, all right, from people that have ill will and are just there to steal, okay? So we're going to properly vet people. All right, but this is how you can join. If you're serious, if you ain't ready, don't come. If you ain't ready, don't come. But I don't have a problem with helping you and assisting you get ready. But if you ain't ready, don't come.
So I'm sending an email right now to that, and I just got to put, you said elite.com, right?
No, elite.com. It's right here on the board. Elite.com.
As a subject, okay.
That's it.
One more question before you go. Is there a difference between class and status? Well, I don't know if anyone else has a question, but whenever you have the time, you can answer it. No rush.
Is there a difference between class and status?
Yes.
I would say it could be, but I don't. But for conventional reasons and purposes, your class is your status, and your status is your class. Your class, what class do you belong to? Because you'll be pigeonholed into the status of the people that fit in your class. My Dred Scott's case was of the Negro class. So if you were born of a slave and you look like kind of like me, maybe, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? The color, I don't know. That gets so complicated anyways. But if you were born into slavery, if you were born from a Negro, then you fit in a particular class. I don't know what else to say.
According to Black Law, they're not the same. They're kind of similar. So status in Black Law dictionary is standing, state, or condition, where class is the order and rank. Is the order or rank according to which persons or things are arranged or assorted. And a person, the final one, is person. person. Person is considered a man, considered according to the rank he holds in society, with all the right to the wish the place he holds entitles him, and the duties which he imposes. Natural, and saying like natural women, stuff like that, also included, and men.
All right, I'm gonna let you continue with that as far as with the panel, all that kind of thing, but I don't think that was fatal to my position. I said that it does not necessarily mean the same thing as status and class do not necessarily mean the same thing, but they can, I said, and both go to the class is those who share the same status as you. That's what the class is. The class and status. That's the okay. So with that being said, please reach out to us here. Again, I'm not going to put out really any more advertising for this. This is your official invite today. If I remember to, I'll try to remind, but I'm not looking to do that. I don't have to beg people. Is what I'm saying.
I just sent my email. So what am I expecting? What, tomorrow or something? There's going to be a response or what?
Yeah, you send an email, then we're going to respond to you. But you know, obviously we're live right now, so like.
Right. All right, I got you. All right. I sure appreciate you.
So yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you for being here. So in closing, for myself, do your due diligence. Stop listening to all these different doctrines and teachings. Find a legally protectable interest. Nobody can save you but yourself, because even if I pull you out of the water, if you choose to slip back in it or fall into a hole because you're not paying attention or you don't know better, it doesn't do any good. So we got to put you on sure foundation, sure footing, educate you as to why you keep falling in that hole, and make sure that what you are learning has legal foundation in law. Okay, that's the point. And you know, I don't know what else to tell you guys, but if you spend all day going from channel to channel, all you're doing is basically corrupting your own mind. You're corrupting your own mind. You're layering too much information on yourself, and it's becoming, it'll end up frustration. I've been there, I've done that. 16 hours studying in days. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much information. Straight to the point. Make sure it's legally protectable. It's got to be found in law. Law does not care how you personally feel or if you're personally disenfranchised. It does not care because it doesn't have feelings or emotions. So you can't combat it that way. You can't come at it that way. All right. You just got to find what's a legally protectable interest in law. If you want to learn more, hit us up here. That's all I'm going to tell you. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. And
can I say something real quick, please?
Go ahead. Yes.
And good afternoon, everybody. You have to also realize that they deal in legalese. In their perspective, a person is not a man or a woman. It is a monster. If you look it up in the Black Law Dictionary. So you have to watch your verbiage and what you put down. And he's telling you the correct steps and what things mean. So you have to pay attention to that. You can't go on your old thinking. As my husband would put it, you have to unlearn what they have taught you and relearn. If that makes any sense. And I land with that.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I appreciate that. Now, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, so I won't. I'll leave the panel to y'all. Have at it. Enjoy yourself. And, you know, when you feel like it's time to get off, feel free to do so. Love you all. I'm going to enjoy a little bit of my time before I got to go back to work and everything. Appreciate y'all. See y'all soon on the next live. Don't forget, EliteCon. Peace.
Have a good one, and thank you again for all your knowledge.
Absolutely.
No,
It's me.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, panel. Y'all can finish the discussion or do whatever y'all do.